So welcome to episode 94 of the Destiny Digest podcast. We are not live for this episode because OBS wanted to be a turd, but we have started a conversation about what is worse, a passive-aggressive Midwesterner or a Windows update. Now, Tidley, what is your argument again?
My argument is first of all, I would like to relegate them to the same circle of hell because both of them I find really frustrating for different reasons. But I feel like if you did relegate them to the same circle of hell, then they would be locked in an epic standoff where the aggressive Windows update would try to foist itself and its update upon the Midwesterner, and the Midwesterner would just try to apologize for like them trying to update them and politely decline, and then get increasingly more annoyed at them, and like I feel like it would be a standoff for the ages.
And then like talk behind the back of the Windows update.
Yeah, and then they would find like, you know, some other person in hell to just be like, can you believe that update? Oh my God.
Yeah.
I said I was sorry, and he just tried to update me anyway.
I said I was sorry.
Wow.
Bono, what do you think? Midwestern or Microsoft update?
So I'm a little bit confused because you're on the East Coast, aren't you?
No.
So how are you on Midwest? No,
we're just East Coast time zone.
Me, Dan, and Sammy are
that's
all
what
in
I
the Midwest.
that's what I'd consider. If you're on the East Coast time zone, for me, you're East Coast.
So
like East side, you're the Eastern side. So, but if you're Midwest, then shouldn't you be more?
All Central.
Shouldn't you be more? Yeah, but shouldn't you be? Dan's EST.
Well, Sammy and Tidley are Central.
Yeah.
And I, because you guys are up in Minnesota. I'm in Indiana, which doesn't belong anywhere. It's like they call it the crossroads. They call it the crossroads of America because everybody just passes through. So it's not a place. Bands will fly from Chicago to Columbus, Ohio, a notably worse town than anywhere else in Indiana. They will go there instead of coming through Indianapolis, if that makes sense.
So Indiana, I would consider in that.
It's in the Midwest
quarter.
No,
how is that the West though? If anything, the Midwest would be Wyoming and Colorado and New Mexico. That's what you would almost like consider Midwest.
I feel like you need to take the West out of the
out of the conversation.
It's so confusing.
Yeah. Okay, I think it's
Indianapolis is just
was not called the Mid-East.
It's just basically the mid. It's basically the mid, but no one calls it mid, even though it's kind of
the mid. You would consider like Colorado to Missouri.
No.
Illinois to Colorado. That's the mid.
Midwest
that is technically the middle.
Midwest is Minnesota. You have Iowa. You have Nebraska, and then like through to about the edge of Indiana.
Minnesota is on the east half.
It's basically relating to how like Europeans conquered and perpetrated what they did across the North American continent. They did it from the east to the west. So when they were going the Midwest, it was the Midwest and then the far west originally, and then Midwest stuck. But it is literally the center or middle of the country. But when the European colonizers were coming through, they started on the east and then went west. That's why it's called that. But we're in the middle.
Yeah.
100%.
We're smack dab in the mid.
In the mid.
Yeah, I'm just going to start calling it mid from now on instead of
I'm
Midwest.
from the mid.
Yeah, I'm from mid. Yeah, I'm Dan. I'm mid.
Midfinity over here.
Yeah. Epic Dan, what do you think on all this? As our contingent from the South, what do you think?
I guess I would have to go Microsoft.
Okay.
You think the Microsoft update would win?
I think it would win over the mid. You know, they seem to have the ability to, no matter how much you don't like them, to always somehow win in the end. So they have that power.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, they end up updating you eventually.
They just did to me.
As much as you hit that. Yes, I'd like to snooze this. They're like, we're coming back eventually for you.
Nothing worse than stopping that for a month straight, then all of a sudden coming to your computer and then be like, guess what? We already did it.
Back, guy.
I did it while you were gone. Surprise!
So I got to go with Microsoft.
Okay, gotcha. Sammy Cat, what about you? You're the one that kicked off this whole conversation.
This is such a weird conversation.
I'm fine with it.
I was more curious than anything because for most of my life, I am like very skilled in being passive aggressive.
Right.
I'm incredibly skilled at it.
Most folks from the Midwest are.
I'm like exceptionally good at you not knowing I'm upset with you. But if you really looked, you would know. One of those things where it's like, is she mad?
It's terrifying.
Bad poker face.
Do you see what I'm saying? It's scary.
Yeah. It is scary.
She's probably mad at all of us right now. We don't know it all.
I could ruin your life if you want it.
Terrifying.
Yeah, see?
So scary.
I'm very good at it. But I've learned to get better about holding my ground and being
aggressive. Just straight up aggressive.
So you're talking about the context of like how you as a Midwesterner would fare versus this update.
And
so what do you think? Would you win?
It won.
It won. So we have concrete evidence that the Windows update conquered the Midwesterner.
But I'm not happy about it.
Why would you be? Why would you be happy about it?
Not that we'd know.
We wouldn't know if you were mad or happy, okay?
Would you consider, you know how people say it's toxic positivity?
Yeah.
Would you consider that to be passive aggressive?
No. That's totally different. It's totally different. No, I definitely think it's different. I think because first of all, I don't find you toxically positive. People who have toxic positivity,
it's a little gaslighting.
They don't admit when things go wrong, and you certainly do. Like, I think that's one of the things that people find relatable about you is you share like all the good stuff, and then you also share the bad stuff that happens. And so like that's more relatable than somebody who's like, oh, my life is perfect, everything's fine. Or it's like you never want a football coach who is gonna say, oh, we just lost that game, but it's all good, guys. We're gonna win the next one for no reason. Yeah, I mean, maybe for like, you know,
Little
kids
League.
like that. I get it. Little League for sure do that. Like, who cares? It's not about winning. But like, I think people who are like, I'm thinking Ted Lasso type coaches, like,
I was just
thinking,
Pete,
or Pete Carroll type coaches, like coaches that are like acknowledge that the team lost. But and find something constructive to say, like, this is what we could get better at. You know, you guys tried really hard. This is where we could improve. Let's work on that and get better. So that's the difference between being positive in a toxic way and like being positive. In my mind, is like you're acknowledging the bad stuff. You're working on the bad stuff. It's not like trying to gaslamp somebody and say the bad stuff doesn't exist, right?
Right.
What's the opposite of toxic positivity?
Me.
Hello, Rev. Welcome to the podcast.
Wholesome negativity.
Wholesome negativity.
Rev is kind of wholesomely negative. It's like the curmudgeon who is
my
charming.
House burnt down today. My house burnt down today, but you know what? I'm gonna get the insurance money.
That's funny.
That's great. Welcome in, Rev. Glad to have you.
Hi.
I believe everybody who's listening to this show now probably knows everybody that's on the panel, except for you, Rev. What do you do in the Destiny community, and where can people find you on the internet? I mean, you've been a guest on here several times.
I annoy people with
now.
my builds, and sometimes I post on Blue Sky and the Elon Sphere. That is it.
Well, welcome. So, where do you weigh in on what's worse between a Microsoft and a?
I've zoned out and I've looked at Epic Down's background and I like his anime posters.
Hell yeah. There we go. Cowboy Bebop all the way.
Man.
That's fair.
So I'm going to go with they both lose.
I guess they both lose. I think that's the first one where
there's a draw.
Or we all win because they're stuck in hell together and we don't have to deal with them anymore.
I mean, that's true.
There you go.
I would rather see all those things go to hell. But anyways, how was everybody's week in gaming? What did everybody get up to? Was there any like highlight that stuck out to you guys? And games that you played outside of Destiny. Epic Dan, let's start with you.
Outside of Destiny.
Outside of Destiny.
Not you can do that.
I've just played, honestly, nothing but Destiny, which is obviously last week I did way too many Grandmasters.
Mm-hmm.
I think I ended up doing about 119.
Jeez Louise.
Which is a whole lot.
You know,
that was just complete. It was a couple fails there. I think if you add in the fails, like 130, but at least attempts. But I did a lot of Grandmasters this week. I really enjoyed it. And then this week I've just been nothing but raids.
Heck yeah.
So it's been just my Destiny life, just getting back to that.
I saw your Blue Sky post about, you know, you've gone through like different periods over the last few years of like, you know, coming back off raids, and now you've got like set yourself a goal for your community to get like everyone up to speed on the raids and before the next raid coming out, which I'm sure
I talked about it yesterday on my stream.
Mm-hmm.
So after, well, I guess the best way to put it into context is the last time I hadn't done at least a raid, just say once a week. The last time I hadn't done a raid in general was in 2019 when I took like a break after Shadowkeep. And after I about January 2020 is when I got back to like heavy raids and raid teaching. Until August, right after Final Shape, right after Witness was killed and all that, I hadn't gone more than like maybe 2 days between doing like at least 1 or 2 raids. So between all the years of raiding, between all of the expansions, and between all of the just raids I've taught over the, just say, 4-year span, I had done so many raids and taught so many raids to people that I talked about with my community how like after Pantheon, which we all remember Pantheon, after Pantheon and after the big Final Shape and teaching all that and just raiding in general, I remember going to GCX, and when I came back, I was just like, I need a break. And I was like, I've been doing it daily, just about. I've been doing raids and just being in that space, and we've all done raids and we've all taught raids, and we can all understand how mentally taxing that can be.
Yeah.
And mentally exhausting that can be. It's a cool feeling to help people, but I remember saying to myself on the plane coming back home, I was like, I don't want to play Destiny.
Right.
I need a break. And I was like, I really don't even want to raid. And I remember telling my community, I was like, it was nice because when I was coming back home, I had Black Myth Wukong to play. So I knew I was going to be taking at least a week off to play that game. And then I was like, I don't even want to boot the game up. So I had not really done any raiding before. Whenever Vaulted Glass came back, was like the first raid I had done since August, since GCX basically. And how I used the term I was taking a sabbatical from just raiding, and then I was like, I'm taking a sabbatical.
Right.
I'm just going to step away, and I just need to not be in that mental space for a while. I took some time off of Destiny. I wanted to play other games. A lot of stuff was coming out at that time, and I just was like, outside of like say contest days, that was the only time I was going to like be locked in on Destiny. And outside of like just keeping up with the game, I need some time. And when Contest Sundered Doctrine came back that week, where I did like the whole 27 hours of just constant runs, mentally that made me want to return to it. I was like, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready to like be in that mental space again. And I don't know if it was just because of forgetting how much I enjoyed it, but I was like, okay. Like the day after, I was like, once Heresy comes out, I'm just I'm back. I used the term. I was like, I used the term. I felt like Jordan when he came back after he retired. And some people were like, "You're not Jordan." And I was like, "It's the context of losing the
will.
You're a Jordan to me.
The will and all that. You know, that internal desire.
Yeah,
was back.
You were done playing baseball. And you were ready. Yeah. You were ready to come back to the hardwood. Is what you're saying. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that's been me ever since then.
Yeah.
It's just like,
So you're just getting your community up to snuff on all the raids? Like what all does that entail? Is it just like long teaching sessions?
The biggest one obviously is Salvation Edge, and I've taught more than that. I've taught at least this week about 20 people it. And it's funny because some of them have done only Witness.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, well, everyone's technically done Witness.
Yeah.
And everyone's been like dragged through a Witness just because they need a 6. But they haven't done the first 4 encounters. And they've heard the lore about it and stuff. So it's been mainly that. But obviously, there's also been a lot of people returning, as we probably have all seen in our communities, returning to the game.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a person I have in my community now who hasn't played since Leviathan, the base Leviathan raid. So there's a lot of also new people who are coming back to the game with Heresy. And it's just been a mixture of like bringing my actual community, my current community up to speed, and bringing just new players that are just coming along, just watching us raid. Like, oh, I've never done Val.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's doing Val unless it's Pinnacle Week. And no one's doing Vault of Glass unless it's Pinnacle. All those raids and then Salvation Edge. So it's just a lot of those long sessions of just, hey, who hasn't learned this raid? I'll teach you right now. So,
well, that's cool, man. Like, that's a cool initiative for your community. Is there like what's the end goal? Is it just like everybody knows how to do everything, or is it?
Like... Well, it's always everyone knows how to do everything. I've never been a person who, wants to drag you through. Like my end goal has always been, since D1, has been to teach you the raid to the point that you can either go into LFG confidently and get content done, or I guess now Fireteam Finder, or you can teach your friends and you can have your own raids or your own group that can raid confidently week over week. So it's just, I've never been a person that wants you to rely on me.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to at least, if you want to join me, cool. I want you to be able to be confident to go into Fireteam Finder or LFG or build your own raid team. Because I always feel like I'd rather prioritize teaching new people because there's always going to be someone who needs to learn something.
Right.
So if you want to be a part of the community and help me help others, that's dope. But I know a lot of people just need a safe space to learn without the struggle of knowing that there is a chance you might never do that raid again or just get kicked.
Right.
Like I had a guy yesterday who literally just came in stream and was like, yo, I would love to do Salvation Edge. Can you help me? And I was like, yeah, sure. He's like, just fair warning. I've tried to do Salvation Edge at least a dozen times through the whole LG Fireteam Finder system, and no one will teach me. And every time they try to teach me, the moment I mess up, I just get kicked. I even looked up his raid report. He had a lot of just red dots. Well, technically they were green dots because he was a part of it, but he was only in there for like, say, an hour or 20 minutes or 45 minutes. But he didn't have an actual completion on his name.
Right.
And I was like, if you join me, you're going to learn how to do it, and I'm not going to kick you. And Salvation Edge can be a bit scary for people, but like, it's only scary if you don't have the information and the knowledge to confidently do each encounter.
Right. That so Rev and I just got done with a run where that ended in Verity, but we were trying to teach everybody. We were trying to teach a couple new folks.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it could be draining to teach that raid. Especially Verity, just because of how everything needs to come together for that encounter specifically. So Like I like hats off to you. And glad that you're doing that for your community.
It's just funny because there's a lot like I would imagine in your run, like you just said, Verity is what's the white room is what I call it, is what scares people the most. Like, oh man, this is a room I've heard so much about. And it's always interesting because at least if you look at the continuation of the raid, at least in most raids, you always have a mechanic, you build upon it, they add another layer to it, they add another layer to it. And then at least for example, by the time someone gets to the third encounter, they at least know what the whole ping pong system is. They're used to that by now.
Right.
They're used to like how, okay, I've seen this already. I know what to expect. And then Verity comes along and you're in a white room. You see all these guardians. And then you have to, unfortunately, outside of a little bit of finagling as far as like, okay, stand in the back of the room, you might not get teleported. You put the people in a position that they're alone. They don't technically know what's going on or why it's going on. And you have to somehow figure out a way to like keep them calm. Like we've probably all had a new person get teleported in by themselves. And they're like, I don't know why I have this shape. I don't know what to do with this shape.
Yeah, that was a lot of this afternoon.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's still me.
Yeah.
Just send them to Tiddly's TikTok. She explains it.
Yeah, Tiddly does a great job there.
I love that encounter.
I love it too.
It's so good.
I said it's my favorite encounter of the raid, like earlier today, and I deeply mean that. Like, it can be frustrating, but once you lock it in, like that's when everything kind of clicks, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Tiddly, what about you, friend? What have you been playing this week? And
pretty much the same. I mean, I did some GMs in Destiny. I caught up to the story, but I haven't done this week's story either. I was like, oh my god, I forgot to do it again for the podcast.
I haven't done the story.
I haven't done the weekly story. I did get my role that I wanted finally on Monday, which was really exciting.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rivals, and I'm playing Fortnite tomorrow. I have heard that the new Assassin's Creed is really good.
People are really liking that.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that. So I think of like the new games that are coming out, that's the one that that looks interesting.
Heck yeah. Cool.
I might actually play that one.
Yeah, you can't resist, Dan.
I don't want to go on a rant because I'm one of those people who I played Assassin's Creed since the beginning.
Yeah.
So I mean, I remember playing. I was right when I graduated from high school. It came out in like 2007. I was like, this is a cool game, and then I played them year over year.
Yeah.
Until Assassin's Creed 3, and if you know any like veteran Assassin's Creed player, the end of the initial Desmond story was very controversial in how they burned us.
Yeah.
As far as the story. And I was so let down. And
you were just like, wait, that was it? Like what the hell happened? Like,
I'm not ranting. My
he's like, I started this by saying it would not rant.
That
I will
pause.
not be baited into ranting.
Yeah.
That pause.
But I will say this one has looked really good. And I actually might play this one. So I'm glad that it's doing well.
Heck yeah.
And it's going back to its original Assassin's Creed roots. So
yeah. Dan Reichert from Giant Bomb was like, I actually like this one recently. So I was like, oh, okay, look, that's he and I tend to have some of the same taste. So like I was like, all right, well maybe it's worth a shot down the road. I don't know if it's something that I necessarily need to play right now, but probably
it just depends on if you're a fan of like those stealth games or if you're a fan of Assassin's Creed games. Like I don't think those sometimes the more recent ones don't overlap a lot.
Right.
Like a lot of people who like the more recent Assassin's Creed games, they either didn't play the original ones or don't really have a connection to the original reason why Assassin's Creed was ever created and the internal storyline of why we can go back in the past. All this going back in the past and becoming assassin and how there's a whole blood lineage. I'm not getting into it, but
right.
It's okay. You could just watch the movie and it explains the whole thing.
Yeah. Just watch the movie that everybody loved.
Now I'm mad.
Like everybody loved that movie, right?
Dan literally rolled his eyes.
I mean, it's got Michael Fassbender in it. How could it be bad? You know what I mean?
What a waste of Magneto's talent.
it is. All I can say is it is a movie. It is very much a movie.
It is 90 minutes.
90 minutes of motion pictures and audio.
It's my favorite movie. No,
Sally, please.
I'm just joking. I forgot a movie even came out.
Sammy, what have you been playing this week?
Destiny 2.
Destiny 2?
The video game.
I don't believe it.
All right. we'll get into that in a little bit. Bono, what about you, bud?
Yeah, a bit of Destiny. Continuing on with my Baldur's Gate run, my first ever playthrough.
Nice. How's that going?
Nice.
How's that going?
Rev, how's that going?
Ooh, Rev's there too? Yeah.
Rev's in it, and I've had a...
Go on, mate.
Go. No. Right. I've had a few people like go back and watch the VOD because they haven't been able to tune in, and they just like Baldur's Gate stuff. They're like, that Rev guy yells at you a lot.
mate, the choices you make.
That's part of the fun, though.
Something happened which was major, and Rev's like, oh, well, we're in the darkest timeline. I'm like, wait, we can't go back? What?
I'm not letting you go back. Like, nah, we commit to that.
I'm like, no, I like her. She's like, nope, she's gone. I'm like, no.
So there's no scum saving, right? Gotta go on.
Not in this run. Not in my solo run now. I am 100%. But
no.
How far in are you? At least you're probably in Act 2 by now.
We're in Act 3 on the first playthrough. I just got to Act 2 on my solo playthrough, and I'm just like, fuck, I missed that.
Oh, yeah,
I could do that.
Yeah.
So
That's
great.
a game where you can miss so much. So much.
Yeah,
So
which
many
is
layers.
the only other game I've had experience with that in the past is Mass Effect, the Mass Effect series.
Yep.
And the Mass Effect series is like, one of the greatest of all time.
Go.
But you can obviously, this just is that on roids, it's
so many layers.
It's great.
That's why replayability is so good.
Yep.
Yeah, and then Rev's like, oh yeah, I've got so many different playthroughs going at one time, and I'm just like, I'm playing yours, and I'm like, oh shit, haven't seen that before. Oh, that's what happens if you do that. Like, there's it's truly one of those games is everyone has a different experience.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's absolutely fantastic.
It's so good. One of my favorite things that I ever did in Baldur's Gate 3 was like early on, and I think I was trying to do an honor mode. Early on in an honor mode, my character had high enough dex that it was able to pick the door leading into like the sarcophagus room.
Yeah.
In that first temple. So I was able to pick that, get into the sarcophagus room, do all the traps because they give you like some lockpicks and like a few things there, and then get to oh my god, what's his name? You could
Withers.
Yeah, you could get to Withers, but I think my run ended there when I got overrun by the.
That happened to me on my solo playthrough first.
Yeah.
Mate, you take the weapons off the skelly bums, then they're useless.
Yeah, well, that's how that run ended.
To do that. Thanks.
But yeah. Oh, dude, Baldur's Gate 3 is so good.
Yeah.
Rev, I'm assuming you've been playing Baldur's Gate 3. We know that now. You've been playing Destiny 2.
I've got 4 playthroughs going, yep.
4?
Yep.
That's currently, like, he's obviously finished it so many times.
Dan, we will be doing an honor mode playthrough when cosplay comes out in patch 8.
Absolutely. I'm so down. Can I
join for that?
Real quick,
yes.
What's the type of playthrough?
What's honor mode?
Honor
mode, hardest difficulty.
It is.
So you don't get previous saves. You get one save file. You can't scum save. If you total party wipe, it's
done.
It's hardcore mode, effectively.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because IRL, you make a decision and that's it. You can't just video game it.
Yeah.
You gotta know your shit.
You have to live by it, and it's
great.
Yeah.
I've done by myself, but with a full party honor mode. My next challenge is solo honor mode, which is just me. No party members.
No, like NPC characters. Like
nope, none of them. No, I can have them in the camp, but I can't have them in my party.
Can't have them on your person.
Oh, you have to send them all back to
Some of those fights solo, I cannot imagine.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, fuck, should I just like
some of those dungeons
full send into this game for like a month and then just play through and just epic Dan this fucking game and just be like, I'll play this from like dusk till dawn overnight and then I'll just speedrun auto mode or whatever. I'm just like,
speedrun auto mode?
Probably.
Yeah. That's not going to happen.
Do you want to know the record for it?
I misspoke. Okay, I was trying to be cool.
No.
But I will get grey hairs in my beard before I'm ready. So,
other games I've been playing. I've been doing RoboQuest again, which is a roguelite. It's got one of the sickest soundtracks of all time, and that's under it, and it's co-op as well. Other games I've been playing. Path of Exile 2, which is going to get content in April with its first big update. Looking forward to that. And a bit of Helldivers recently. That's about it.
Yeah.
Have they bought out the Western DLC yet?
Yep. It's in game right now.
Came out this week, right? I want to say.
Yes, it is. The lever action rifle, pretty powerful. The laser revolver doesn't leave my side anymore.
I saw a screenshot of like one, I don't know if it was Respawn or whoever, or like maybe one of the magazines, and they posted a screenshot of like Destiny doing Western, and it was the Spyro the Watcher, like Guardian armor, and then it was like Helldivers doing Western, and it was just like laser pistols and shit like that. I can't remember who it was.
It's a good update. It's just fun just to go back to every once in a while. But nothing's keeping me to it. Boulders is kind of a new attraction because Patch 8's coming up. I'm looking forward to the new subclasses.
What's like 3 highlights for Patch 8? Other than crossplay.
They told me subclasses, and you took away one of the major things because it is actually crossplay.
We know about that. We've just spoken about that. It's about like one of 3 others. So.
There's not 3 others, Bonner, because the major 3 things are the 12 subclasses, crossplay, and photo mode, mate.
Don't yell at me, Revenant.
Can't take away the major point. I'm looking forward to the 12 subclasses. Some of them are going to be a lot of fun. I'm looking forward to
we should do it for Warlock
1, which allows me to spawn a demon puppy. The demon puppy takes damage, and also he then duplicates when he takes damage, and he's autonomous.
I love puppies.
Yeah. So in
you should see Rev in our most recent playthrough. He's been turning into like a panther and just going around meow.
Oh yeah.
Meow.
Yeah.
Wild shaping?
No. I'm not a druid.
Okay.
I took the Illithid powers and I chose Displacer Beast, and I decided to meow.
Oh.
Yeah, I thought I'd take on full Illithid. I've got all the powers on it for once.
He's got really dark eyes.
Pure Ice Sork.
Yeah.
You should play, Sammy.
Helldivers?
Love it.
No.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur's Gate.
Baldur.
There's bows in it.
What?
Imagine Sammy running around as a rogue, like a bow wielding rogue.
Yeah, it should be a
I
good
can see it.
for real.
Yeah.
So many people have told me to play it.
You should.
And the one time that I considered it, I was like, this is too expensive. So then I didn't play it.
All right, crowdfunding for Sammy. Let's go.
Right.
Yeah, we
noting down for future.
Yeah.
I don't have time to play it right now, though.
We'll make time.
You will go to make the time.
So this past week, I've been playing a lot of Destiny this week. I think part of Sammy's and Bonna's time this week has probably been the Rushdown Roulette, right? And Destiny 2.
Pretty much been my only Destiny time, yes.
I celebrated 3 years.
Not me.
I celebrated 3 years of partnership on Twitch on Wednesday.
Congratulations.
And
Huge congrats.
We did like a 9-hour, or it was a 10-hour stream, maybe 11 hours.
Wow.
I think.
Yeah.
And we
That's
did
like me.
I know. I was like,
Dan
this is a
level
Dan
stream.
times. and we did every raid back to back from release order, as they're in the
nice.
game. It was a lot of fun. Probably next year, I think maybe we'll do the same thing again because that was cool. Shout out to everybody who joined in on that, and that was super fun. I played. We watched the Future Game Showcase on Thursday. I played Rainbreaker, which is the last game from Studio Fizbin. It's a Hades-like that I think is like
when
for
you say
$10
last
right now.
game, do you mean their last ever game or the most recent game?
The studio closed down. Unfortunately.
Okay.
So it's $10 right now. I think for the first week. It is, if you like Hades, it's got a lot of Hades for you. If you're in that in between. For
like
$10
Hades.
it's not bad. But I played the game that got me this week was it's called Cataclysmo. Has anybody heard of this?
No.
It is
think so.
It is an RTS tower defense game. Like there's a story path that you follow along, and you're building up castles in order to keep zombie hordes out. But that's during the day cycle is you're gathering materials, you're building units, and you're building up your defenses. And at night is when the zombie hordes come to take on your tower defense. It's got a really cool, fun loop. The story is pretty good. The artwork in it is amazing.
What's it called?
It's called Cataclysmo. Cataclysmo. It came out in 1.0 on Thursday, which is why we checked it out.
Sick.
It's badass. I highly recommend it.
Oh, okay.
It looks borderline voxel based.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's so good. It's very good. I highly suggest it to anybody.
You shouldn't have shown me this.
You're not going to get anything done now. Because
I have to work, Daniel.
I think it's one of those games that I don't think it works well for me on stream, but it's going to be one that I play in the off hours when I'm editing something. It's
The wish list.
It's really good. It's really good. But yeah, played a lot of Destiny this week. How did everybody feel about this week's story stuff that popped up? How's everybody feeling about Rushdown Roulette? Everything.
If we go to talk about anything story, I had to completely back out of your stream the other day.
Oh.
Because I still haven't done anything other than that.
Okay, gotcha.
Mate.
No, I
Heard.
think the first 2 weeks of Act 1, because they've gone back to the thing, haven't they?
Mate.
So yeah, I know Eris is back, but that's from watching you.
Gotcha.
And, yeah, that's So if we do, just tell me, and I'll just go on Jeff and I'll go la la la. So
Just 30
please
seconds.
continue on talking. I don't want to stop anyone, but just go like this. Everyone go like this when you need me back. All right? Okay, I'm going. All right,
don't do it.
No, I've just done it.
Yeah,
Okay.
There were no new
Go,
story
go.
beats though, right?
There was a
This
new
week?
story beat this week.
Oh, I missed it.
There was a new story beat this week. What I was surprised most by was that there was full voice from Zivu and from Sloan. I think was the
definitely.
big.
Oh,
That's it. That's it. That's all I'm gonna say.
that's a good sign.
I haven't played it either this week. Then
I think it's I don't know if it's a good sign or if it's just the order that they recorded things in. Maybe they in the recording sessions they did separate record they didn't do everything in order.
I was gonna say they don't do things in order when they record sometimes, so that makes sense. Yeah, I guess you're right.
But it was weird. It was cool because the scenes were
You
cool.
get to finally hear their voice.
Yeah, you get to I finally kind of know what's going on outside of watching a Bife video this season. So that's
why I've liked
that's
Echo
cool.
of Navigation so much because
Mhm.
I personally really like Oryx's voice or
Mhm.
the Echo
Oh
of
my
Navigation.
God.
His voice is really sick.
When he started shouting, Jesus Christ.
Right?
Like I think he sounds better than what they had him sound 10 years ago, back in 2015.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's amazing how much weight voice acting gives to a scene. So hey, Bungie, I hope you guys strike a deal with SAG-AFTRA soon because that would be super great. But
you think that they're focusing more? Because I asked my chat about this recently regarding the voices. Do you think? I don't want to say it's not important, but do you think that the voice acting that they're focusing on is more right now for Frontiers than this episode?
Oh man, they've probably. I wonder if Frontiers will have some of the same issues. Is like
that's what I'm saying. Like if they're trying to like
already probably recorded it for Frontiers.
Yeah.
At this point, they most definitely have.
I would hope by now they did, but like
at least
it would be odd that like that was all done and this episode wasn't.
Well, and I
like,
know
obviously they had a different team, but
yeah, I think, and I wonder if like because it's on like a contract by contract basis. I wonder like if they've, at least from what I understand of the SAG-AFTRA strike, is that like if you have like a standing contract, you're good, yeah. You're good. But if you don't have a contract that is like perennial like that, then like you're given the option. And that's what it feels like happened. If I'm hearing right. I might invite somebody from SAG-AFTRA to come talk on the show sometime over the next couple weeks. Yeah. I think that would be cool. Nice. Yeah. Even if it's as like a bonus episode or something. But that's been something that's been crossing my mind of like, what does the community need to know in order to like to support the artist better? Like we're all playing the game, we all love the game, we want it to be good and we want it to be better, but I think it would benefit us.
I think a lot of people don't know that, because I had people coming in my stream this week saying, "Man, Bungie couldn't even get voice acting," and I had to explain to them, why the things were like they were. They're like, "Oh, I didn't know that was going on." I'm like, "Well, they didn't just not give Sloan and Zero Wrath voices. This is what's going on. You don't. They're not going to scab, and that's just how this goes. And you got to protect your union."
Which, congratulations to the video games union that started, I think, on Thursday.
Yeah, like, I love that.
Huge.
That's huge.
Long overdue.
So, yeah.
When are we going to do a creators union?
I don't think it's that far away.
I don't know if it's... Well, the problem is that that we're contracted employees through Twitch. So I'm not sure. I think there's some regulations around unionization if you are a contract employee.
Yeah, contractors don't get bugger.
But it would be interesting to have a creators union for streaming. Yeah.
If we do, does that mean we get workers' compensation? So say I trip over my desk on stream and stub my toe and break it. Do I get workers' comp from Twitch?
Absolutely. Yeah.
No, you get voice saying skill issue.
You say that anyway. I don't need a bloody union for that.
Damn straight.
But yeah. I actually we also want to say congratulations to Sammy Cat and to
thank you
to Mactix and Zwerg.
Zwerg,
yeah. You guys won the for the hunters this time around for the Rushdown Roulette. How does it feel? What were some of your tactics? What were you thinking?
I can't say.
Give me all your secrets.
You can't say.
Not that I went back and watched the VOD to get some tips on how to hunt her, but
it felt really, really good because I've been in a couple Bungie sponsored events and never won. And with my play style, they've been team based. With my play style and what I'm familiar with, definitely is not going to fly with what is required. So I don't know why they keep inviting me back. Honestly, I'll be totally honest. But
it was in our contract about various skill levels, so that's why I keep coming back.
That's awesome.
So it was exciting because I haven't won one of those events, and I was totally shocked. Like, oh my gosh, I pulled my weight and we won, and I was just shocked. More so than like heck yeah, we won. That's so cool.
Yeah.
More of a like, oh my gosh, I'm part of that.
Mm-hmm.
So it was more shock than like, congrats.
Yeah, my team like we did the rotation on Friday, which was oops all bosses. It seemed like, and so
that
I think,
was tough.
Yeah, that one was tough. I think we're gonna have to hit it tomorrow.
We
try to get
did
a better
Friday
score.
as well.
Yeah,
so I know exactly.
We're
going back tomorrow.
Yesterday.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where we checked. Someone told Mactix, oh, hey, it's a really good rotation. He's like, hey, guys, do you want to do it right now? I just have to start up stream. So we ended up doing it last night, and I'm so glad we did. And this was after I did a 24-hour stream. I had been up for like 30 hours, and I was just like, let's just get this done. But we're pretty confident in that score.
What's the score?
I'm not telling.
It's 70,000.
I'm gonna find out, Sammy.
70,000. That's what it is. That's the score there.
At least
70,000 is insane. No one knows that much.
Yeah.
504,000.
That's not bad.
Good.
That's really gonna be hard to beat.
She's telling you their low number.
Oh yeah, there's actually was 700,000.
Sammy.
Yeah.
Sammy.
What?
704,000 and what?
It wasn't 704,000.
Oh, sorry, 504,000
plus 70,000.
Plus 70,000.
Yes. Are you guys at 500?
We're at 504,000, so I want to know what the other three digits are.
Okay, we're not going to do this here. we
Comes down to like
honesty.
Point.
This is all honest, right?
I'm honest. I can send you the screenshot. You want me to send you the screenshot?
I'm not sending you my screenshot.
That's fine.
Wait,
but I'd love to see your screenshot.
There you go. If you're 504,000, there you go. I'm being honest.
This is the Destiny equivalent of show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Show me yours, I'll show you mine.
Yeah.
So I want to know. I want to know if you beat me in the last three digits.
I'm not saying.
Well, that's going on. I do want to shout out Epic Dan. So you called out that sniper rifle last week.
Critical.
Yeah.
Dude, I crafted one like immediately, and have been using it all week. So good,
right?
So good. Yeah.
Clanmate might put it on
again.
Vow the Disciple,
Edge.
or Salvation's Edge. Excuse me.
Oh, okay. Yes. Good to know.
Yes, that was the So I crafted it critical anomaly, with chill clip and chaos reshaped, just like Epic Dan said. And I used it with Rev this morning when we were helping people out. And so even when I didn't have like an unstoppable option, the chill clip was like taking care of it, and it was solid. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I think I've graduated to that from what I was using before. So thank you for the recommendation. That was solid.
Like I said, Clanmate put me onto it and made me a believer. He's been praising it since Salvation has dropped, and I finally saw the light last week with that GM. And once again, hoarding is the way. It's been sitting in my vault for 6 months. So
it'll pay off eventually.
No, it won't.
He's living proof it has.
Yep, an adept one.
For one weapon out of how many in your vault?
Just a vault update for you guys. I'm at like 400 again. So moving on.
Didn't you just delete everything?
Yep.
Yeah, but how much is that of that is viable?
How much of that is viable? I have no idea. I just need to go through and delete everything.
Or have you just been keeping everything you've gotten from farming?
I'm using farming mode. Everything's just filtering through.
Mate.
What?
Fix that.
So,
I see you, Tiddly. You're just as guilty.
Anything.
You don't need to say anything. I know how bad your vault is.
I have literally 6 spots in my
That's
vault.
absolutely phenomenal.
I can move so many things around with 6 spots. It's fine.
Fantastic. How much of it do you actually use?
One loadout, Sandy.
Moving on. Noted.
I still have like 20 of those sidearms from 2 weeks ago. So.
Right.
Yeah.
My vault
I
had
think I'm not going to
150
use
of
all
them,
of
so I feel
them.
that.
So
He's just moaning.
He's just moaning in the background.
Unintelligible noises.
I'm so over this, man.
Yeah,
But so yeah, that's like the plan is to delete like most of that. It's just to have mats and everything. But yeah, I just wanted to give a shout out to that sniper. That was great. That was a great recommendation. Anything else before we move on to, well, not news of the week, but some of the news based on an article that we received a couple weeks back? All right.
No.
All right. Cool. Then what we're going to do here, we are going to go through this article that came up from the Game Post back on March 16th, 2025, by Abdullah Jawad. Destiny 2 Codename Frontiers changes explained, so it has the roadmap, the new model, raids, dungeons, next-gen armor, the portal, solo ops, and more. This went around the community quite a bit during that week. And so we thought we'd just like give a talk on it. As Revis pointed out, Llama D2 also had like an excellent video on this a couple weeks prior to this episode coming out. So I will, or to this article coming out. So I'll include the link to that in the episode, in the show notes. But this just generally seems like a combination of all the things that we already know, right? There's nothing that's like too surprising that points out of here, right?
If you've been keeping up with it now, but it's good to have a concise like catch up thing for people.
Yeah. So starting off, Codename Frontiers roadmap and release model. So they will be releasing 2 medium-sized expansions every 6 months. These have been shown to be like comparable to, I think, was it Rise of Iron is what they shout out to?
And Shadowkeep.
And Shadowkeep.
And Shadowkeep, yeah.
Yeah. So you're looking at maybe like, I think I'm going to look up how long to beat has been my...
Those have like 7 campaign missions. It's like 7 campaign missions is what like those size campaign drops usually are.
If you want to compare it to Shadowkeep being the most recent one, we had 2 exotic missions. We had a raid and a dungeon at the same time. We did have some post-campaign stuff as well, although it was fairly minor and was then very quickly overshadowed by the season that also dropped at the same time with Undying.
Yeah.
Campaign didn't take that long to clear, truth be told. But I'm not holding that as a measuring stick for the Apollo story.
Right.
The longest part of Shadowkeep was trying to get into the fucking servers that day on launch.
Right.
After about 10 hours, I was still trying to get in, and actually the update bricked my Xbox. I had to go and get a new Xbox.
Looking at so Destiny Rise of Iron, main story is like 3.5 hours. Main plus sides is 6. If you're completionist, it's like 16 hours. So we're looking at something probably close to 6 to like 9 hours of gameplay, probably.
So Epic Dan can get that done, all 3 characters done in what?
In a day,
14 hours
session.
Yeah.
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 I only do one the first day. I do the one day, the one.
We'll see how long it takes you. It'll take you 3 hours, and you'll be like, oh, okay, what now? You'll get all done.
Are we including the contacting Destiny servers hours?
Well, unless you're on the super secretive streamer servers, you'll get in straight away. No, you've got that subscription.
You're not supposed to talk about those.
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
We can't.
Anyways,
I will say Lightfall was the first person to get in. and people thought I was cheating, but
I knew people that VP
before Dado, and people were really mad about it.
I knew people that were VPNing to Washington State to fucking get in straight away, and I'm still there like 2.5 hours later.
That's
like,
crazy.
come on, let me in.
So summer 2025, we have Codename Apollo expansion and Codename Arsenal major update. For fall 2025, we have Codename Surge major update. Winter comes around and we have Codename Behemoth expansion and the major update. And then spring 2026, another major update. So like every 6 months, we'll be getting something. The raid will be coming with Apollo. The dungeon will be coming with Behemoth. What's everybody's thoughts on how these two expansions are going to be released?
For clarification, as a Southern Hemispherian, when's fall?
September, October.
Yeah.
Like it starts in September, October.
Like it start, yeah.
After what is it?
September, October, November.
That's like the first day of fall. Generally, people say the fall kind of starts.
Yeah, it's autumn.
In September.
September.
Yes.
Right.
End of September.
Okay.
August
the
is
actual
like,
day is like September 22nd. Is like the first.
August is like the last month of summer.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because obviously it's the other way around, and even though I know it's the other way around, I just get
your brain kind of clicks into that.
I'm like,
and the upside down.
Compute.
Right.
Yeah.
So, what was the date on that again? Like sometime in July.
Sorry.
Would 15th. It's the 15th
Frontiers?
of July. The in-game timer.
Yeah.
I'm currently in game right now, and it's a season ends in 113 days, which is the 15th of July.
15th of July, according to the according to the journey tab.
Yeah. But it's good to note that they've obviously extended that before if like shit's gone wrong, and that there has been no official date, but that's obviously we've just been going off of the in-game season episode ending.
Them removing it from the season is telling though. I think we've talked about that a few times. It's interesting that they removed it.
Yeah, there's some speculation on whether or not they'll delay, but we don't know yet.
Yeah. According to Jeff Grubb from Giant Bomb, he said that there's speculation that Bungie will have a showcase for Marathon sometime in April, so they could tag something on to the back end of that regarding Destiny 2. If it's unless it's just like a straight up Marathon event in April, that maybe we might get some news. Or
just done by Bungie, or like as a part of like another event?
Just by Bungie.
Right. Okay.
So that like Jeff Grubb says the Marathon event is definitely happening, but like my speculation is that they would maybe say something around then too, and just keep it all under one banner in one house, since we know that there's an expansion coming for like in the next couple of months, hopefully, if that's
and we're
the timeline
at that point we'd be 2 months out from a quote major expansion coming, and
no news.
People we usually get, they've tried to be better recent raids, but to give people a date for the the day one raids so people can book that off. So they need to it needs to be soon. So.
I know people are freaking out that it might be the same weekend as GCX, and so
they couldn't do that.
110%.
They couldn't.
That's the funniest thing they could ever do.
I think that's really unlikely.
Stupidest thing that they could ever do.
It's very unlikely.
Absolutely.
I think that
the amount of money they make,
they know they're not gonna do that.
At the same time, like I've thought about it a lot. I know we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
If they were to make it that week, I would just cancel GCX. Yeah, and I know a lot of people that actually care about the raid probably would.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where it's like, would Bungie care more about the few that are going to actually make it worth it, which are obviously the people that are actually going to be competing and like actually showcasing the raid, or are they just going to like move their scheduling around for GCX. Like obviously GCX has nothing to do with Bungie, and Bungie has nothing to do with GCX.
Yeah.
So if they were to come out and say this is when it is, because this is our scheduling wants it to be here, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of the Bungie community that actually cares just cancels.
I could
Like,
maybe see them
though. Is that what's the point? Like, there is no reason they need to do it that weekend.
No.
Well,
there is no
they
reason
can
they need
push
to.
it back
we know
like,
of.
there is
That we know
zero
of,
reason.
no.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where it's like Bungie has no actual connection to GCX.
No.
And GCX now has nothing. GCX has wholeheartedly said we are not a Destiny convention, even though that was our foundation.
Yeah.
Like they don't even have most of like say their what's the thing? The charity marathon, most of it is not Destiny based anymore either. They don't have like a lot of the Destiny creators.
But then, you know, you have so much as theme for Destiny where you have Destiny artist shop and artist gallery. You still have Destiny cosplaying things. You have, you know, last
That's also
year,
because
Cosmo,
I would argue they've tried other companies and they've tried other avenues.
Yeah, Warframe was there one year.
They tried Warframe. They tried a lot of other stuff. And I would argue GCX needs Destiny more than Destiny needs GCX.
Exactly. But Bungie would know that, you know, that is the week of that. And people would have these tickets from last year. And if Bungie wanted to do it the same weekend as GCX, then they should have released that information last year. Not before people start buying tickets.
It's a tough thing though. Because
I would almost guess that they would probably release it. They might release it like that week and then like the weekend after or something. Do like the raid race if they're sticking to it.
I don't think they would do that.
You don't think
at
so?
All. Nuh-uh.
Because there's so much prep that goes in beforehand. And
you go in, you know, you have what is it? I forget you have like, so they go in, they make sure they have all their loadouts beforehand just in case. I mean, there is so much that goes into it. They have people on their team who aren't even on their fire team. Like I know some teams have
gotta have our scout.
Scouts, 5 or 6 people as scouts. Like it's a production. And part of it is learning. I mean, look at the last one. How long it took people to figure out Verity.
Oh, so long. Yeah.
So that's not to like turn down that idea. But I don't think they would ever do that. Just
I'm not
because
saying
of how...
I just don't see the weight of GCX being their decision making.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. Like I don't think there's just enough like investment that, like if GCX was bigger, but obviously at the same time Bungie is one of those companies that they know the connection they have with GCX, so they wouldn't do that.
Right.
But if the higher ups was like, yo, we gotta stick by this thing,
online,
then it's not I just don't see it being a deal breaker for them because they know anyone that actually cares about the raid isn't going to go to GCX.
Yeah.
If I had to make the decision, I'm not going.
Yeah. It's not just the raid though. Like it's still, you know, it's still, you know, last expansion they bought out the raid the same week as, you know, the expansion, which they haven't done since, what was it, Shadowkeep or
that was the last time.
Yeah, so that was the, you know, last time. Every time, other time it's been 2 weeks. So either they bring it out the same week or the second week. If, say, the expansion comes out the same week as GCX, you're going to have a lot of people either not go to GCX or a lot of people go to GCX and miss out on playing. Therefore, you know, both suffer. You know what I mean? But if the raid comes out the same week, obviously that's objectively worse. Either way, you know, it's still not going to be it's almost like Bungie just being like, oh, okay, cool. Like we'll put it out this week and then we'll just screw over GCX, who we do have a good relationship from the past. Yeah. So it would destroy that show.
I don't know.
It is interesting because GCX announced their dates back in like December, and I do wonder. I don't think GCX has. I don't think the Rare Drop team thinks about Destiny launches like that, but I do know that like Bungie probably does think about GCX launch, GCX week, because they like to go there as well,
right?
So it's interesting because
it's the only
anyone
real
that takes
time
the race
that...
seriously, like me, I just wouldn't go to GCX if I had to make the choice.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I do like to go to GCX every year. But if I had to make the decision, and I know anyone that actually cares about the race, if they had to make the decision, they would just cancel.
Yeah,
it's like the guaranteed time of year where Bungie staff devs can interact with the community, and the community comes together physically to interact.
It's summer camp,
so it's basically summer camp.
Yeah, exactly right. And even though they're not connected officially anymore, then you're still taking that away from the community. And of course you would, and many others would, choose the raid and do the expansion over that. Of course, that's like the number one decision, right? No one's going to choose going to GCX over that. However, you'll be very, what's the word I'm looking for? Like very PO'd, right? Just for lack of better, at Bungie, because you've now lost that opportunity to go and meet up with people for the year.
Yeah.
So that, rightfully so, that saltiness would be there. That.
Yeah, I do agree though that they wouldn't do that. Like, I definitely think that they probably will not move the date, but take that into consideration, which is probably, to be honest, probably why we haven't heard the date. If they weren't delaying it, and they have already had a window, then it's probably been set in stone that it's either going to be, especially with the in-game tools telling you a certain like timeline, that's probably going to be that July 15th, which means you're probably seeing some sort of like, do we make this the same week so everyone can go to GCX a week after, or do we give people that week and a half and then just drop it the same week as GCX? Most people actually prefer the whole week and a half. I don't really think we need a week and a half personally, because it's not going to be as big of a content drop as Final Shape. And anyone that actually is going to be preparing for the raid won't need to do a lot of preparation, because it won't be nearly as big of a sandbox change like Final Shape with Prismatic. And at least as far as we know, there's no like new subclass you got to go get.
Right.
You just got to focus on getting new armor and learning the new weapon sandbox and any outliers. And you can, if you play enough, you can do that in 3 days.
New armor system too.
Yeah. So like, it's. I hope they give us an answer that I'll like.
Yeah. Soon. Because I actually think like, so having this kind of like this structure helps them out a lot, especially in the winter season. Historically, we've seen like the community numbers on Steam dip to like lower and lower numbers in December specifically, and like having Behemoth set up kind of like to 6 months after July, like it would be like the tail end of December, right around Christmas maybe, or like the first week of January, that we would get new content.
They'd probably do it in January.
Yeah. And like that would cure some of that slump that they've seen historically, and probably something that they're taking into consideration with launch times too. So they're probably hoping that they don't have to delay anything, and they'll probably just go on their own time. Regardless.
What do you guys think about that? So I was going through for taxes and everything, and going through expenses, and I was like, okay, where's the Destiny expense for these taxes. And I was like, okay, there wasn't one because they do it, what is it, 8 to 10 months or something before the big content drop comes out. And we're what, like 4 months out? Not even. Yeah, 4 months out from GCX at least. Wouldn't they have pre-orders? Because they'd be, I mean, marketing wise, not having it for pre-order now is like not a good decision at all.
When did they open pre-orders for Final Shape? I don't remember.
They had them, the collector's edition, during the announcement.
That was like the previous August, right?
A year out.
Yeah, the previous August. Because my expense was for the 2023 tax season.
Yeah.
I had put nothing into the 2024.
So this year, well, for this calendar year, when did they first tell us about Frontiers?
It's like
last year.
August.
It was after
in the show.
Like, yeah, because it was like
the year before is when they gave us Final Shape or whatever, and then they let you pre-order it early.
Yeah, because they always pre-order it the previous year.
Yeah,
I think it was after, if I remember correctly, it was after what's the big 12? Is it 12-man activity? Excision. I think it was after that coming out, and then technically ending the whole story. And then it was kind of like there was something that came out after that, or it was like, Bungie, Destiny 2 will continue. So
we have 4. Are we're like 3 months away, right?
Looking at it, I'm looking at an article from Polygon. That's dated from September 13th, 2023. That breaks down Final Shape. So it was a good chunk away. Like you were right.
We should have had something by then. Yeah. Okay.
I almost wonder.
That's when then, just from what I'm familiar with marketing, not just Bungie, but video games in general, there's the hype that you get when it first comes out. So when they first announce it, that's when they're going to want to start pre-orders.
Right.
And then like 6 months out, they start a new hype just to get people more excited in every single like content launch. The fact that this is the final act and we didn't get pre-orders even by the beginning of this episode.
Yeah,
that doesn't bode well for on-time release, does it?
Yeah.
No, not at all. Because they would have had it by now. And then with every single act, they would promote it too.
Yeah.
Like, get ready because we're going, into Frontiers.
I'm still holding out hope for that April release. I'm really hoping
that they'll announce something in April at that show.
Yeah, I'm personally holding out hope before I think there's a delay until April. If we get through this, if we get to Act 3 and still crickets, then I'm expecting a delay.
So you have a week. That marathon. Get it together.
I'm giving them until if they at least, because they're giving us the marathon thing. If they announce that and don't include it with some sort of twab saying, "Hey, this is Destiny stuff," then it's probably in my mind I'm like, okay, I'm expecting a delay.
Yeah.
Because at that show, we're literally 2 months away from when this act is supposed to, this episode is supposed to end. It is 2 months. Which is,
not expecting
I feel like every single
a lot of it, gotta give us something.
Every single year, it feels like it's getting the distance between expansions is just getting shorter and shorter before they announce something, and they're really pushing it.
Yeah.
So we need to know.
I was hoping we were getting away from the delays personally. I thought they were getting better with
medium content instead of large content, right? Yeah, I think
it'd be kind of upsetting of that.
Yeah, absolutely, I agree with you.
Layoffs might have thrown a wrench in some of that.
Working more under resourced, right?
Oh, 100%.
But I mean, I think and that's the I think we talked about this in the previous podcast. Is are they biting off as much as they can chew, right? So they're creating content packages that are deliverable on time.
Yeah.
With the resources that they have. Like, and if not, then it's like, okay, well, if even this isn't going to work, that's scaled down somewhat. Like, what is like, are you going? When are you going to communicate that with the, like community out there? So
yeah,
we still haven't seen anything regarding outside of a couple screenshots. We still haven't seen actual gameplay.
Right.
And that's also what worries, not really worries me, but like I know by the time we get gameplay visuals, then they probably will also give us a date. And I'm like, March, it's about to be April.
Yeah.
I would like to see something regarding the future.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Do you remember when we saw? Oh yeah, because it was when they told us about what each episode was going to be. That's when at the end of that's when we saw Destiny 2 will continue and Frontiers, right? That's when we saw that. But I remember watching that in August, and there wasn't really any footage for Heresy
there was nothing.
that we're currently in.
Yeah,
it was just screenshot. It was just concept art, right? So if we're going off that, what are we like 9 months sort of from that to seeing stuff?
Yeah, I don't know. But moving on from some of that, like we see that we have we'll have a new portal, or we have the portal, which will include solo ops, Fireteam ops, Pinnacle ops, Flashpoint ops, Crucible and events from the image that was given by Bungie. Solo ops are like 10-minute missions. Fireteam ops will be the home for standard 3-player activities like strikes and onslaught, while Flashpoint will cover 6-player activities from similar to past nodes like Sundial, Menagerie, Vex Offensive, and more.
I forgot about that.
Yeah. High-level content such as dungeons and exotic missions will be grouped under Pinnacle Ops, and Crucible events will have their own dedicated section with Gambit. They probably won't show up on the portal category at the start of the year, as they say in this article, because they're still trying to figure out what to do with it. Like after
I thought that was interesting, right? Because we had a little conversation before we started about whether any of this was new information. And this is a quote that they got from a developer. So did we know this about Gambit? Because I think, isn't it a running joke that they just never mentioned Gambit ever in any of the updates?
Yeah.
So I just was entertained by that. I was like, this is really funny that they had to contact a developer to get a quote about Gambit because they couldn't find any information about it.
No, this is like this is directly linked to the developer insight portal, the portal article.
Oh, you're right.
So
you're right.
They say that in that. And so
Gambit always feels like the redheaded stepchild of Destiny 2, which is really funny because it gets.
Why I feel like it's redhead.
I feel like it's somewhat unfairly maligned, but it feels like in this. I was just entertained by that. I was like, oh, so they still don't have a place to put Gambit. They don't know what to do with it still.
I've said that it felt like a game jam kind of thing. Like something that you would put together in a game jam and be like, yeah, this is great. And then they're like, all right, hey, this is good enough to ship. Like, just go ahead and do it. And then, like, I don't know if maybe I don't know if the inspiration went or like if people left the team that like.
I don't know. I think it's just, it's like an in-betweener. And so I get they don't know where to stick it. They're like, well, it's not quite PvP. It's not really PvE. So I think they're like, oh, where does it fit in the portal? We don't know.
Rework it.
Between
Adept weapons.
Make it an event.
Champs.
No champs.
Yeah, like Iron Banner. Yeah, like Iron Banner. Or
that's not gonna get me in Gambit.
Dread with Banes and
bring on Banes.
Adept weapons and modifiers that come on each round, or
with a Drain Bane at the same time, and then have a invader behind me.
Bring challenge back to also. Destiny, damn.
With a light bear.
Yeah, which is new-ish, right? The light bearers.
One of each.
Mate,
so Rev, how do you feel about that?
That'll get me in Gambit.
Right, so first up, light bearers in Gambit, Pog. Like actually a challenge to deal with if you leave them alone long enough. Secondly, champions in Gambit, get the fuck out. We're not having that shit. All right.
That is the only reason I mentioned Chance, by the way, for Rev to pipe up.
Banes You could do that. So let's say, for instance, you want to do a small blocker, but you want to change it to a bang. You bank 7 modes instead of 5. You could do for a medium one, you could do 13 instead of 10, and for a large one to be a bang, you could do say 20 modes instead of 15. That way, it still contributes, and then you're going to actively annoy the enemy team because I'm going to tell you right now, you just piss all over these blockers, mate. Like, there's no point. One person could deal with it with a grenade and maybe a shotgun too.
30 motes is a champ sent over to the other side.
So the strategy.
You put a tormentor in there.
Yeah.
I will never play again.
Send a tormentor and a light bearer and invade every time. Instant win.
If you happen to dunk like 30 at the same time, right, either side, then it sends over the stasis and the strand subjugators.
No, here's what we do. We add a special Verity-like puzzle that you have to find that spawns randomly.
Oh, that will get Danny.
And then if you solve the puzzle, all 4 people on your team get to invade at the same time.
Yeah.
Then it's just fucking PvP. There's no point. Mate, stop shitting on my game mode. I said I wouldn't shout. Fucking hell.
All right, what we need to do is whenever you invade, it makes it into prop hunt, and you just hide as like an object around the map, and the invader has to find you.
Oh yeah, like Gambit, but hide and seek edition.
Exactly, like you can't shoot, like your weapons get lowered.
That by avoiding it in the blogs.
Accurate, yeah, accurate.
I thought you said you weren't going to yell, Rev.
Shut up, man.
He's waking up his neighbors.
How long did that last? He hasn't broken his other rule though, so good.
Yeah, that's good.
Give it a second.
We'll be talking about that rule.
Gambit does need love.
It does.
I legitimately think adding champs is counterintuitive.
I was not serious, Rev. I was not serious.
Yeah, we're gonna have one Muppet and listen who's gonna be like, oh my god, it's gonna be so good. No, it's not, James. All right, shit the fuck down. All right.
So someone named James.
Though. Yeah, he
Who's
really
James?
did.
Sounds like a redhead.
Nope. Adding Banes, but making it a player choice, and increasing it just a little bit above the cap, but not Master to the next one, would be actually, I think, a decent idea because you could actively annoy, and it would limit it to things like healing. That's really annoying. Drain. That's really annoying. And Zealous. And if you combo that with another one, another blocker, for example, it can make them Zealous as well. And Zealous Bane is annoying, to say the least. Hypernova would be funny on a Goblin, though. I think that'd be hilarious.
Oh, absolutely.
One of the main problems with Gambit is the fact that the sandbox hasn't changed in 4 years. Please change it.
Yeah.
I'm fed up of just shitting on everything with abilities, double special and a heavy, and everybody thinks they're hot shit because we've got a Xenophage out, or God forbid they understand Microcosm. Please.
Anyway,
Gambit.
Rev, you seem heated.
It's almost like he's thought about this before.
This
is not therapy. Can we move on to the next question, please, Dan?
This is Rev lukewarm.
This is like you just turned the heat up a little bit. Moving to raids. So like I said earlier, we're going to be getting 1 raid each year. We're going to be getting a dungeon in the second part, or in the second expansion of the year. Yes, a new raid each year. It's not you were not going to get 2 releases. Nope.
No more reprisals.
Yes, they're going to be focusing on new mechanics, on new challenges, on new content for raids over that time. It says that
so no Wrath of the Machine coming.
All those copium bloody
those theories to bed, folks.
Right. All those copers are gonna bloody cry.
I'm gonna cry in the corner with my toaster in a bath. Bear with.
New dungeons will have expanded. Loot pools. And then a possible legacy raid and dungeon event in the final major update of the year. The event centered around legacy raid and dungeon content similar to Pantheon.
Now that's a big woot.
That's cool.
That's exciting.
Yeah,
that's very exciting. When they say end of the year, do they mean like the calendar year, the fiscal year? Like, are we
Expansion
talking like
year.
I would guess
expansion year?
Yeah.
Expansion
So
year.
what month would that situate
So, like,
around?
That'd probably be in May again.
May
into the
again? 'Cause
light. Into the light.
Are we gonna get one this May? Because I would
I
love
don't
a
think
new
so.
one.
See, that's what I was hoping. Yeah.
I don't think
We
so.
are we are getting one effectively. It's called Rite of the Nine. It's just around dungeons.
True.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Is that what they're kind of considering? Like the Pantheon event is of the like.
Not Pantheon.
That's not Pantheon.
But Pantheon, what you're getting Pantheon right now with Rushdown Roulette.
Yeah.
Like, if you
Right,
haven't seen that yet, then
Yeah.
it is your wake up call. It's technically Pantheon.
Mhm.
Oh, that's where I know this from.
Rite of the Nine is effectively them uplifting 3 dungeons that never got the time in the sun as a contest,
Mhm.
and also redoing the loot. God forbid, Ghost of the Deep.
Yep.
Yeah, we know.
So
We know, Ghost. Oh boy.
Guys, I love Ghost.
We know, Sammy. How's Master coming along? Have you
I'm
used
at-
Thorn yet?
I'm at 870 some deaths.
Oh my god.
I'm
But I
so
think
proud of you.
I think I'm gonna get it tonight. I think I'm
Sub
well. I think I'm
1,000,
gonna get.
baby. Let's go.
I
I
hope
think
for
I'm
your
gonna get
sake.
Hexstar
Yeah.
tonight.
I
hope
believe
for
in
your
you.
sake, Sammy.
Yeah, and your sanity.
So yeah, that's what we're getting for the end of the
Okay, so
of
Rite
our
of the Nine
content year.
essentially is this the end of the major update
Right.
year, calendar year
and you
update for us.
I suspect if they haven't given us a time, I suspect it's going to drop in the latter half of Act 3 because we're going to want Act 3 to shine a little bit because there is actively nothing in Act 3 bar story.
Mm-hmm.
We have everything else. There's
I
no
figured they'd end
room to
the 3-week story, then give it to us. Like
We have that new GM.
Yeah.
We have that new Sunless Cell.
Sunless Cell.
GM.
Yeah.
So we've got
Yeah.
They're
stories
gonna
on the
space that
cell.
stuff out.
Is that a new strike
pretty
or
much-
like an ops?
This is D1 Strike that's coming
Yeah.
back.
Remastered.
Oh, which one was that? Like what?
Sunless
what
Cell.
happened in it?
Cool, the Dark Blade.
Yes, the Dark Blade.
Yeah.
It's just like
You're
the
dropped in
opposite of
the-
the Light Blade.
But bear with, Bodder. They have said Alec Hall's not the one in there this time. It's somebody else.
So we
We've
were
already said that.
speculating
Hey, that's
in a
our
previous
guy.
episode who's going to be down there, Tannix or
I think it's the
You
last
know.
Cabal.
Apparently,
there-
it's already been done
a
too.
singular Cabal.
People
Last
already
Cabal.
know who it is. So
They do?
It has been done. There was actually a fire
Yeah.
team that managed
Oh,
to
so we
complete
do
it
know.
on
Okay.
Tuesday.
I
I
can't
don't
remember the
personally know, but
layout
people
of that
already
strike.
know.
Yeah,
Isn't
I don't.
that-
So
I
we
can't-
were.
I
I
can't
was
remember what you
still
do.
in the game when the update got pushed. I didn't get kicked at all on Tuesday, which was kind of crazy.
Mm-hmm.
And so we were doing like catch up story content, and we tried to launch Sunless and got kicked. So I almost got in there. I was like, oh, I want to see what it's
Yeah.
like. I want to know who the boss is. Well, we got kicked out. Very sad.
Some
Imagine if you
people
got
were,
marked as like
yeah.
a data
really
miner.
there. So that's how people did the contest. Spire and Ghost of the Deep.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, because that got released.
That got
early
released
by
I did that.
accident,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I've got contraband loot.
Yep.
Oh, is it? It's like the unskinned weapons.
Yeah.
Polygon.
Which
Can I
goofy
say
as fuck.
that needs to be an ornament for like that you can
They
purchase
probably
for
will.
weapons.
I
Yeah.
You
know.
need to
That's a
do
clever
that.
idea,
That is
actually.
amazing. When I saw it, I'm like, you need to purchase that and just add that to any hand cannon, any
I
bow,
was
whatever you want. Like,
joking around with some people, and I'm like, I bet they did that on purpose just because they wanted a reason to give us a cool emblem.
That's
'Cause
my
you know
hand
they
cannon.
do
There it is.
Emblems for all of those funny things. Yeah.
I can see them like.
It was a joke.
hearing
I
the
was just
community
joking.
response.
Yeah, I was gonna say
I was joking.
more emblems, more emblems.
Worms.
Right.
It was a
I would
bad
love to
joke.
see that as an ornament though, or just a skin or something.
Yeah,
They
the
were really cool.
basic bitch ornament.
Yeah.
I mean, we do have like armor
BBOs.
sets that are like blue armor sets that are kind of like equivalent to that for
Right.
armor.
Yeah.
But there's no weapon equivalency.
It looks like raids will now feature a feat system, allowing players to customize difficulty by adding extra modifiers such as time limits or combat restrictions. The more feats that you activate, the better the rewards will be. I don't remember seeing that in that
I
article.
remember that.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do.
yeah.
Additionally,
They
each
also
new
are gonna do the
raid,
thing where they add more raid encounters.
more stuff mid-year. Yeah.
Mhm.
I was just about to say that, adding new mechanics, rewards, and possibly even extra encounters. These updates will include a second raid race and a new catalyst for the raid exotic. So that's cool. Like, especially if they're expanding it out that way.
That's the interesting thing because if they're adding a new race, that means they have to be adding more than one encounter.
Like enough content to justify.
Yeah. Because we'll already know everything else. And it wouldn't be enough for us to, do one encounter and that'd be it.
Sure. Like what additionally they're adding to justify doing a race. There has to be something new.
Yeah. Right? At least 2 or 3 minimum extra encounters. And then you ask the question, like, are you then doing a raid that has 7 or 8, 9 encounters in it later on down the line? So I personally don't like one raid a year. But if the raid evolves to allow some extra length and more enjoyment somehow, like 9 months later and still being unique.
Yeah.
Like a rogue
I'm here to at least try it out.
Oh. Yeah. Like they create encounters that are specifically, oh man. So you can do like side to side path kind of stuff and then have like a different tile set open. Like depending on how you load in.
Like the original, I've thought of it currently, like I hate to use Leviathan, but remember if you've played Leviathan, the original one had the doors. And each week you could go through a different pathing for a different encounter, at least to start. My hoping is that like they're creating a system like that where somehow you have the base raid and then as the resets come along, a new encounter opens. And then sooner or later we get a new raid race, and now if we have 4 encounters, we then get 8 encounters. I wouldn't be against if they keep adding encounters in a raid.
Yeah.
Because it's got to have something. Like imagine you did Salvation's Edge first month, and then 3 months later they add a second Verity encounter.
Yeah.
Or something.
That's in order to get into the raid.
Instead of dying when you jump down that hole, you like jump down and you're jumping down into another room.
Yeah.
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 Something like.
But it will be interesting. Like, will they keep a version of it where you can do the base version, or are they going to just make it where this raid is going to have updates,
right? And
that's just going to be the new one. Are they going to make the new update where it's just you have to do this 7 encounter version and that's it? So I hate that we only get one raid, but I'm willing to hear this first one out.
Yeah, I'm personally, I guess I'm okay with it. Like, if there's like more content that's going into it, and especially like
it's just my issue with the one has always been it puts so much pressure on that one raid being sustainable for an entire year.
Yeah.
And it's tough because like
a year's a long time.
Are you going to want to do like the last time we had one raid in an entire year was Garden of Salvation, and it's like by month 6, most people don't want to do Garden of Salvation. They just didn't because they had already done it so much. It was the 4 encounters. We got all the loot. You were only doing it if you were helping a new person, helping a returning friend, or was just bored and you just need the pinnacle. If they add new stuff on top of it, that could give us a reason to go back into it. But it's just a lot of pressure on the one raid.
Right.
And even the raid, like even Salvation's Edge, for example, even this far away from the raid, a lot of people are not so much bored with the raid, but it's like, okay, I know all this stuff. I would love for them to add like another encounter or 2 6 to 7 months later, just to be interesting.
There's a lot of people. Sorry. There's a lot of people who, including myself, who don't go into it, not because it's getting old, like Salvation's Edge, but because it is so intimidating.
That too. Yeah.
I think that one reason that I think more people would play it and it would be higher up with replayability if people weren't so intimidated by it. Right. And I don't know how I don't think that is something that Bungie can think about when they are planning a good raid.
No.
Like the accessibility and all of that. But I do think it's something where I think it's not that people are necessarily getting bored of it completely. I think a lot of people haven't played it because it's just I don't play it because I am intimidated by it. I've been taught multiple times, and I would love to learn it again and again, but there's just something about it that intimidates me, and I don't want to play it because of that. And I know other people who hate the raid for similar reasons, and they just don't want to play it. I don't know how Bungie could fix that. I don't think they could.
Right.
I don't think boring is the word I should have used, because I don't think it's a boring raid, and you're absolutely right. I guess I'm trying to think of a better word to use, because it is an intimidating raid. It's also a long raid.
It is a long raid.
And even though the raid is really good, it's a really good raid. It's no matter how good a raid is, if you have no other option, like a pinnacle option, for example, and you have to constantly do it, which unfortunately most people only care about the most recent raids before the rotation came in to like alleviate some of that. And my community was talking about this the other day for the Frontier raid. Someone asked me, do I think it's going to be as hard as Salvation's Edge? And I said, no, it will not be as hard as Salvation's Edge.
Yeah.
It probably won't be remotely close to Salvation's Edge because of the response, like you said. As much as people dislike Root of Nightmares, I wouldn't be surprised if they lean more in that pathing and then in that direction to making a raid more accessible and more enjoyable for almost everyone. Like Deep Stone Crypt and Root of Nightmares.
I don't think that's
especially after Salvation's Edge.
After Salvation's Edge, I could see them going like Root of Nightmares or like maybe Vogue-esque, like something that's more breezy and something that like is more consumable by more people. But like I think we've said this before on the show, is like there's room for all sorts of experiences within raids. And so like I could see them pulling back and being like, you know what, like, yeah, we smacked you in the mouth a little bit when it came to Salvation's Edge, but we want you to go into this and to seek new treasures. But yeah, and I think the feat system will probably
be Root though.
Yeah, the feat system intrigues me because like if you're able to tune that, it's like adding extra modifiers and like limits and stuff. It reminds me of the old GM system that they had. Back
exactly. Yeah, the Nightfall system.
Yeah.
Five of Swords card.
Yeah, the Five of Swords, where you could tune it and like you would get higher scores and everything for doing more difficult options.
So I would love for them to lean into the boss rush.
Yes.
Like I personally think that would alleviate a lot of the weight that the raid is having, because it's a lot of weight like for this Frontiers raid. Because someone like myself, I'm just like, I have nothing aspirational to focus on until that next raid.
Right.
Like that's the next thing. Like now that Sundered Doctrine's over, I'm looking at the next raid. I need something competitive to push forward to challenge myself, and that next raid I'm just waiting. So like after that I'm like, okay, well, I have nothing outside of one more dungeon, and I don't really engage with it as competitively and all that like I do raids. You know, it's not the same kind of experience. So like I guess personally I like that feeling at least a couple times a year. And having it one calendar year after one calendar year is going to be tough, just personally.
Yeah,
but if they had like a rush down, a Pantheon rush down, that'd be kind of cool. Like for raids, just give me more stuff to push myself. Where's my Pantheon rush horde mode? Just give me constant bosses for
Rushdown.
2 hours.
Rushdown has opened something up where like that should be that
I really hope
needs
to
be
into that.
It's really cool. I really like the breadth of bosses that they've added to that, like that are just spanning all of Destiny 2. it's just so cool, and most of them
sucks, and they might just be stuck to Guardian games.
Like, yeah,
I find very interesting about it is that you don't actually know what the rotation is until the day.
Oh yeah.
That's the best part.
And I don't think they've done that with anything else.
No.
Like normally it's kind of, and that's what my team was expecting is like, okay, they probably have 3 or 4 days. So then we're going to get this rotation again.
Right.
That's what I asked y'all last week.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then it was like, okay, yeah, we talked about it. Maybe they're tiers where it's like, okay, Witness.
And that's
is
not
a
the
tier.
case at all.
And that's not the case because Witness was last.
Friday was boss rush day.
One.
Like that was what I would consider like the hardest day to do it because you had you had Witness, you had Callus. You had the 0 hour bosses.
Callus was such a dick.
Callus. Well, so for us, our stumbling point was we kept getting bad modifier rotations for Witness. And it's like, oh, you have to use only glaives and swords now for the Witness encounter. And it was like, ugh, no, we don't want to do that. Like it was like bad, but like that day was, and you also then had the you had the 0 hour bosses, you had the Whisper bosses. Like it was a fun day. You had Savathun opening that up. It was a fun day just because of like what you were taking on.
Fun.
Yeah, like because of the bosses that you were taking on, and you had to do them all in a line. That was great, but it was.
It's obviously great for us, like because we're a part of this event, right? And we're like being forced to like play it differently.
Well, I mean, like even on that day, if I were not a part of the Rushdown Roulette event, I would probably play that day because it's so many stacked encounters after each other like that.
I did that. It was hell.
Yeah.
I was like, I said, okay, I'm gonna go. I heard about the day, about the rotation. I was like, okay, let me go. I'm just gonna go into an expert run and just matchmake. And I hadn't done any matchmake. I just ran with my clanmates. So we were just zooming through getting high scores. I was like, well, let me see what the experience is like. And to put into context, it was me. I was on my Arc Warlock. I had a Hunter and I had a Titan. Every single encounter, the moment I died, it was a wipe, no matter what. So I basically had to carry through all these bosses. And it's funny because I hadn't died and I was doing pretty well, but they were always dead. And I was like, man, is this what it's like in just random matchmaking? Is this what the average experience is like?
From Reddit?
And then I get to 0 hour, the last one.
Yeah.
And
0 hour was so hard.
I missed 0 hour. Damn it.
I'm almost solo damaging the Fallen. Then the Brig comes in. And then I burn through his health with Queen Breaker and Chaos Reach. And it just what happened that I was so locked in on like getting the kill. And then I didn't move away from the lasers. And I died. And he had maybe 1% of health.
Yeah.
And then I see one person die. And then I'm like, please go just kill him. Just sneeze on him.
Right.
And instead he just runs around for about 5 seconds and tries to get the res. And then they both die.
Oh.
And I'm like, bro.
Yeah.
And then we have to restart, obviously. And then I notice I hear a sound. Bang, 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 bang. And I turn around and he's just running around with last word out. And I was like, you're not going to do anything with last word. What are you doing?
It's the LFG experience.
Mick, what?
Yeah, dude.
And he didn't have lucky pants on. Nothing, no like stacking.
Mate, stop.
None of that.
It's because it's like, I looked at Reddit for like what people were like saying about Rushdown Roulette, and it's like it is a boss rush activity. Please rush the bosses. Like please rush the bosses.
Just kill the boss.
Yeah, that's what we're trying to do here. Please just do that. But apparently that's fallen on some deaf ears.
One thing that people were talking about, and even from my own experience, I don't know if I mentioned this before, where I didn't remember a lot of them, like 0 Hour.
Right.
That too.
I didn't play 0 Hour since it came back. I haven't played Whisper since it came back, or maybe I played Whisper, I think once.
Big up, Jimmy.
I didn't know what to expect whatsoever.
Right.
Because I hadn't played them in years, literal years. And I can't imagine people who are brand new to it and want to go in there and then learn the mechanics. Because, I mean, these are actual mechanics that you have to do. It's not like, other strikes where it's like, hey, here's a payload. You have to advance it or dunk this ball into this whatever. I can imagine that would be not only intimidating, but so frustrating. Because you have, 10 minutes or something to go through and do it?
Yeah.
15 minutes?
15?
I think so, like 13, something like that.
I think you get more time as you go through. Am I right?
Yes.
Oh, do you?
Yes.
Because in that run, it took us 14 minutes. In that run that I carried them through. But I think it's like Sammy said. I remember doing the run. I was like, it feels like these two people have never done these encounters at all. That's what it felt like, because they were just killing ass and they weren't doing the stuff that anyone that had historically done them kind of lean into the mechanics, because you just kind of I think this is what you're supposed to do. Oh yeah, this is what you do.
Yeah.
But like I just could tell that they were just deer like whatever that term is. Yeah, it just felt like they had never done that before at all. And if they had,
very similar to Pantheon, right? There were obviously people that were, doing Pantheon helps and helping people get the encounters done. I think you were one, Dan, but I have people come in like, oh, I can't get this done, or LFG, just no one, I can't get this done on LFG. I'm like, yeah, because it's it's not like it's a brand new raid and people are teaching it. This is like stuff that's been out for like so long.
Right.
And almost if you want to run it, it is supposed to be for high level stuff and for you to be, it's expected that you have the knowledge to jump into it in the first place. And it's not even like it was back when, when the raid came out. This isn't actually how the raid encounter goes. This is just a different, more difficult, challenging way of doing it. So yeah, even if they had done these bosses, they would have done them however long ago and never done them ever since.
I've been the mind of a goldfish, like with this event, like a lot, just because. Yeah, sometimes I forget the mechanics for how to do things, and it's been a nice refresher going back, a little nostalgic. But yeah, I don't know, like that's been Rush Hour Roulette has been a good way, and I hope that they keep doing more boss rush activities, as well as like Pantheon style activities of harder difficulty for adept weapons, for chances at things. Like the Godslayer title is incredible, so it's it's just, I don't know, I hope that they keep doing.
Could you imagine if they did that once a season or once an episode? It's just something to build up to, other than and if they did it differently or leveled it up every time, you
then run into the issue of like, well, we've seen this before, or nobody's ever happy with anything.
No, of course not.
And so like, you just have to find the right cadence with it to keep it fresh in the eye of the audience. And that's,
I've always said twice a year is a good cadence.
Yeah,
like, at least for Pantheon is what I always felt. Like, I don't want it to be around all the time.
Right.
But I would like for it to be around for a set amount of time that I know, okay, I got this event that I can, sink my teeth into a couple times a year, maybe.
Right.
And I would love Rushdown, because I think I asked last week, have we gone through every boss that's in this rotation now, or are we still?
I have no idea.
We don't know yet.
Because I've noticed that there's been days of repeats.
Oh, has there?
Yeah.
Repeats of bosses, or in a different order,
they haven't.
Yeah, I would just say it's like this. It would just be a random order every single day. Like,
because the one that surprised
not even
me
a random
was Witness. I didn't know Witness was going to get added, and Whisper in 0 Hour, and that they didn't get added to a few days ago.
I didn't even know they were until today.
Yeah.
I didn't know they had been out until today.
So I'm wondering if Now it's just okay. We have the 20 bosses, and it's just going to keep rotating through the order of which one's the easier one or the harder one.
Right.
On the first 4 days, the only one that repeated was the Witch Queen ribbon. Otherwise, so that was just in the 14 days, that was 19 different bosses.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's so crazy.
Maybe every week they add a couple bosses, because I don't think we had 0 Hour and Whisper until until week 2. So maybe week 3 they're going to add another one. I don't know what they add, but
yeah. We're gonna move on just to like keep going here. Dungeons are also being expanded with larger loot pools on par with raids and improved reward systems. According to the article, one of the biggest quality of life changes in the dungeon keys are being removed. Dungeons will now be included as part of the expansions they release with, rather than requiring a separate purchase, which is a huge win. I love that for for everybody. We are only getting one a year again. Say what?
Yep.
Another huge one you didn't touch on at the start is the fact that all the content in the season is free and you pay for the reward pass instead.
Yeah.
So they're actually going closer towards a free-to-play model.
Gotcha.
They're getting there.
Yeah.
It's taking them some time. They're getting there.
Is Trials included on that free play model?
I don't think so.
Because
that was an issue we ran into ages ago.
It doesn't look like anything's on the.
They haven't mentioned it, but also they price gate Trials to help deter
cheating. Yeah.
Which is fair, honestly. And they've done that for the last couple of years. Not that it's really helped, because you can just add an account under a main Steam account and it will just borrow everything in the library. But progress, albeit.
Yeah. Another thing that they're adding is challenge customization and reward ratings. So
I don't like that.
You'll be able to create like a challenge customization, which according to the article will let players control the difficulty of the PvE activities instead of being stuck with preset difficulties. You'll be able to add new enemy combatant abilities, increase enemy power, and add new combat challenges to make activities harder, while the reward rating system ensures that the greater risks lead to greater rewards.
I'm turning moths into mini screams.
I could, yeah.
Yeah, I personally don't like that, because they're giving a lot of choice to the player. Now, granted, over the years we have been asking for contest as a permanent mode, which I think is coming with that setup. Cool, that's nice. But as you see in the screenshot that they have so helpfully provided, it states expert 1, 2, and 3. Why do I need 3 experts? What is the fucking point? Like, I'm all for crafting the experience. I don't need 3 tiers of expert or master or advanced. I don't care about that. Just make it advanced, make it expert, make it master. And within that, you can still branch out on the enemy power, the combatants you might face. If you really want to face a particular version of a strike, fair enough. You can queue that up. I'm all for that. Gambit can do that. You can face certain rotations of enemies on any map. And that has been there in private mode Gambit for years. So if they're bringing that across to PvE, cool. That's a nice change. I just don't like the fact there's way too many choices on the difficulty for, at the moment, nothing. I don't see a change in the difference between expert 1 and 3, for example. What's the point? Doesn't make sense at the moment. I know there's going to be a change between expert and master. That's already ingrained in us.
Right.
We see that in the current game, and that's fine. Take out the little in-between tiers, I don't think it's going to be an okay system. But keep those tiers in, nah, man, I'm out. That's just too much.
I mean, and this is something that like is like a preview. It's not. It could be something that maybe they smooth out like through testing.
Yeah, this ain't final.
Like yeah.
I don't like that screenshot.
Yeah. So how it will work, according to the article, team rating, the score will work similarly to Nightfall points, but new activity types can have their own way to determine team rating. Personal modifiers will add to difficulty, so playing activities on higher difficulties, applying challenge modifiers, and personal bonuses from power level, artifacts, and buffs. And then the final reward calculation at the end of the activity, the team rating is multiplied by the player's personal bonuses to determine their final reward rating. Yeah, I would agree with you. Like, it would have to be worth the squeeze. Also, the Destiny community is always going to find a way to
the path of least resistance.
Yeah, they're gonna find a way to dumb this down to get the best rewards possible for the entire thing. Also, like, if you scroll down a little bit in the article, you see that same one, and the rewards on the right hand side, right? So if we went from expert 2 to expert 3, like, or we went from expert 1 to expert 3, that goes from like silver rewards to gold rewards, and it's only like a couple of extra rolls of the weapon that is the difference between those two, right?
Yeah, and also seemingly they've bumped up the enemy power by 2, the gameplay modifier by technically 6, whatever that is meant to be. But all we're seeing is a bump in expert 3. We haven't been shown how the player is altering enemy combatants and all the other gubbins they've said. So for all we know, they've done some of that as well, and they're just showing the difference between this is what you can do if you build into the system. I can't wait for the quest that say you've got to clear this on expert 2 or higher. Why not make it expert?
And you can't unlock expert 2 unless you do expert 1.
I'm gonna scream. I don't want to do that,
man. Yeah. It's a whole thing.
But yeah, like, you are right. You do get more rewards the more you build into it. But at the moment, all we're seeing is expert 1 to 3 is apparently a 2 weapon, an extra 2 weapons.
Right.
Whereas there's more than that going on, clearly behind the scene, by the looks of it.
Yeah.
But I hope we see more of that, because I am interested in it. It does look nice. Like, being able to choose my difficulty and also fine tune it a little bit more. Cool. Okay. Happy days. Just please take away the tiers of expert, or just the tiers of difficulty within the actual main categories of difficulty. We don't need that much in the way of choice.
Right.
At least in my opinion.
I guess it's something that, like, we'll see how it's implemented, and we'll see how they react to the community reaction of it. But yeah, the community will find the path of least resistance for things, and like,
watch it be like Rev's opinion like turn right around when it comes out, and he's like, "Oh, this is fucking great."
Well, I mean, like, we'll see. we'll have you on that first episode.
This is just a UI mock-up, so
yeah, it's a chance at a thing, but like, it does remind me a lot. It reminds me a lot of the Nightfall system, like it almost to a T. So I'm wondering why they're kind of going back to that pot here. But the final section here for the article is next gen armor and loot system overhaul. So armor is getting one of the biggest reworks in Destiny's history. Currently, armor stats work in a 10-point increment, but in Codename Frontiers, every single stat point will count. The stat cap is increasing from 100 to 200, and crossing 100 will unlock new benefits, such as gaining extra grenades or melee charges. So armor will now have specific archetypes, meaning pieces will roll with focus stat distributions. For example, brawler armor will specialize in melee stats, while grenadier armor will focus on grenade cooldowns. And class items will have full stat distributions, making them more meaningful in builds. And it looks like they're changing the name of some things, like discipline being renamed to grenade and strength being renamed to melee.
I'm so excited.
Yeah. So I mean, like, that feels like something
about that.
That feels like something that is like aimed just for clarity, right?
Yeah, it is.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's just to make it simple. Like, why discipline? How does that correlate to a grenade?
Right.
But if you hover over it, it literally says.
Right, but that's the point. You have to hover over it. But if you
Yeah.
look
You
at
have
it
to
at face
hover
value,
over it.
how does discipline correlate to a grenade just by looking at it? How do I know discipline is going to boost my grenade stat?
I'm gonna remember that next time we play BG3, and you're like, just examine the enemy, boner.
But so for that,
See, I forget still because I don't focus into grenade or melee. So I forget. Like I always say, I look at. I don't know if it's just me, but if there's a symbol, I will look at the symbol before I'll remember a name. So if I see a grenade or I see a melee, I know I'm focusing into grenade or melee.
Right.
But if someone in chat were to be like, "What's your intellect?" I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Nobody tells me nothing.
You'd be like, I don't know. I'm smarter than you.
What is my?
I don't know, bro. I just work here.
Yeah.
What is my discipline? And I'm like, which one is that?
Right.
So it's like I see a grenade. That's my grenade stat.
A lot simpler too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll also be getting a special ammo stat, which goes from 1 to 100. Okay, Rev.
Interesting. I don't think they like us using double special much, and they're gonna make us work even harder for it.
We are getting a ammo econ update as well. I'm not sure if this article's touched upon that, but that is coming in Frontiers. That has been said. The fact that we also have got a Lephanim, been able to spawn ammo out of thin air, providing you have enough gubbins for it. And then we're getting this on top of it. It's like, what are you up to? What's occurring? It's already hard enough to try and run double special. They've kind of neutered it. It is very, very select weapons you run with double special outside of glaive or rocket sidearm. You can't run a shotgun and a sniper like you could anymore, or a fusion rifle, whatever the hell you wanted to. It has to be, you got to be heavily ability focused for a start, and then you put your special weapons on top. I am interested in to see where all of this goes. Not only the special ammo stat, but how does the new ammo econ shake up as well? Yeah, on the fence.
Yeah. It's one of those things where it's like, well, we're just gonna have to see. Like, we're gonna have to test it out before, like, we know.
Yeah.
I do like the idea of this, like, armor set bonuses, where they talk about an example. A Tex Mechanica set might improve hip fire accuracy and movement speed with a stronger bonus if you wear 4 pieces instead of 2. Like,
get excited for that.
Seasonally, they try to do this to us, right? They try to make you wear the seasonal armor. How many people here wear the seasonal armor for activities?
Never. I have never worn the seasonal piece because
unless there's like something in like the
are awful.
Right.
Yeah, and unless there's something like the seasonal challenges to do so, you know.
Yeah.
Like,
even if the stats were good,
it's also not artifice.
It's not worth it.
It's not artifice.
No.
Like,
which they're doing away with artifice. So like that's really interesting, because then, you know, you'll be like, oh, okay, this is more my playstyle. Let me go run this activity 50 bloody times to try and get some good armor, you know.
I've wanted gear sets in this game for at least 5 years. And I hope they do it right the first time, because I hate when they put out new systems like this and it doesn't hit first, because when they go back and try to rework it and it actually works, no one cares. Or they just drop it because the first time they put it out, it was not that well received and it didn't work, so they just don't even keep it around. We've seen that with a lot of systems that they had to constantly rework over and over because it just didn't hit, and the sandbox changes.
The Gambit sets, dude. Like, those set bonuses.
I have high hopes for this gear set thing, because it could really, really change the foundation of Destiny's gaming. I know some people won't like it because I got to refarm my gear, but like, to be honest,
oh no, give me that, please.
Armor has needed a refresh for a very long time.
Yeah.
So I'm really hopeful that Armor 3.0 and the gear set thing makes a substantial change. I would get rid of all my armor if this new system works out well.
Right.
Dan's already there, so
it needs to have good enough advantage to use it. So it's like, okay, I could use my Artifice armor, which will let me get high stats, but will the bonus make up for
what
the
I'm
lower
losing,
stats?
what I'm lacking?
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
Some of these
The 2-piece has
So-
to be at least decent, and then the 4-piece that has to be really strong.
Yeah.
Because I might use a 50 stat piece if what the set bonus gives me is worth it.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So one of the set bonuses they teased, it might not be in the final game. However, it was there along with this blog which showcases it is effectively particle deconstruction for free.
Yeah.
Now, having
But
come
it's not
from,
for free because you have to potentially give up some of your stats.
It technically is, and the reason why is because it's taken out of the artifact as a result. It's going to be probably a diluted version. I'm not.
It would also be
expecting it
there
to
when Artifice is gone, or that Artifice is gone.
Yeah, they. I will say as well for Bungie have stated they expect our current armor to be obsolete within a month with this new system in place. That's how much faith they're putting in it. Now, whether that is because we can ramp up to 200 or the armor set bonuses are going to be that good remains to be seen. Also, in terms of armor stats, exotic class items, you get to pick the stats, the primary, secondary, and tertiary.
Amazing.
All right, you will get to pick them. Because as you said, class items now get a full suite of stats as well, Dan. That's what you said. Class items, exotic class items, we get to pick for our builds. But I'm iffy about the set bonuses. Because if they're too powerful, imagine what the artifact perks are going to bring.
Right.
Because if we put an artifact perks, even on a slightly diluted piece, onto armor, oh lord, we're going to be breaking the game
on a 2-piece or a 4-piece.
Yeah. I can see that happening. I can absolutely see that happening.
Yeah. It sounds like they also want to start trying to move away from the artifact.
True.
Yeah.
That'd be kind of nice.
I personally think that's a better, like, having the artifact be just gear sets is a better idea. Because one, they wouldn't go away. Obviously, they'd have to make less powerful versions.
Right.
But some of the artifacts is already too strong, so
they could keep part of the artifacts to be, where this mod is going to be cheaper, or
yeah, they could do that.
More passive 100%. Sort of stuff.
Yeah.
No, that'd be.
They just move like the 5th column and the 4th column stuff to like gear sets.
Yeah.
Another thing about the loot, which is a bit further down. It might be what you were going to go into.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to hit next.
The weapons.
Weapons.
Okay.
Weapons will also get a tier system where the baseline tier of legendary weapons will be equivalent to current day legendaries, with higher tiers being generally equivalent to adept weapons in terms of upgrades. Yeah, that's pretty much the last paragraph of the article, and it regards the loot system. What were you about to say?
Looks silly. This looks silly. So the screenshot, which was provided in the doc, shows the entire weapon enhanced. For those who don't know or forgotten, enhancing a weapon and boosts the perk's effectiveness by 10%. Barrel and mags only really give a +10 bonus to their given stat. Like polygon and rifling is a +10 to stability. So if based on their current guidelines of how they want to keep power creep under the under wraps with crafting and enhancing, that would mean it's just 11, which is a bit underwhelming. Also, the screenshot in question also has shoot to loot in the second column, and also it's an assault rifle with a 3-round burst. We're going to ignore that. So, I am all for spicing up loot. But given the current guidelines and how we don't know what's going on, I'm iffy.
Yeah.
Because if I'm only getting a +1 stat bump because I enhanced polygonal rifling, why should I waste my mats on that?
Right.
It doesn't make sense. It makes sense to use it on Outlaw or Kill Clip or Shoot to Loot in this case. I'm down with that. But on the mag and the barrel perks, it's got to be more than just a 10% increase.
Right.
It has to be. Otherwise, there's no point. Or what's actually happening is, even though they've said the baseline legendary is going to be tier 1, and the tier 5 is meant to be the pinnacle of whatever that weapon is meant to be.
Right.
They're trying to potentially underdeliver on it. And it's just going to be, oh yeah, it's only just a little bit better than the loot you already had. In which case, I'm just going to keep my whatever guns I'm using now. Like, if there's there needs to be a solid reason to masterwork the entire weapon,
and
we just haven't seen it yet, based on the current guidelines.
Right. So, overall, based on the information that we have right now, where are we all sitting? Is it just like one big wait and see? Is there anything that you guys are more excited about than the other thing than anything else?
This fence is getting really uncomfortable.
Yeah,
I'm at a wait and see.
Wait and see.
Yep.
Because I have a lot of opinions that could be completely null and void.
Right.
Yep.
We don't
I have a lot
anything,
of strong
really.
feelings, but I could just embarrass myself by going off on them.
Oh yeah.
And then being like,
and then like 3 months down the road, figuring out like, oh, this is actually an okay thing, an okay change.
Yeah, let me do that. I'm really good at that. I don't care either.
Yeah, at this point, it's just, you just gotta wait and see. Anyone that like reads all that and creates their own opinion on it, it's just, we're too far out still. And even though that's like 3 months, 2 months, whatever, until you see it in game, may as well wait and see, and then we can all rant and yell about it.
So some things that I really like about this, I like the proposed expansions, like in how they'll function, and in that like they're basically just 6 months chunks. You know what you're expecting for that 6 months, and when things will come through. It reminds me of like back in Destiny 1 a little bit, which I think that delivery model, while it did leave some some people wanting more, and like I was one of those people where it's like, this is drying up sooner than you think. I am kind of nostalgic for that time because it won't
be the same though.
It won't be this like what
that's
I'm
because like they front loaded then. So now we're gonna have like the drip feed version.
Yeah, but I think that they're like the quality. What my hope is that there's a quality to it and a focus that like is for that 6 months rather than what we've been getting. Like, if that makes sense, is that like we'll kind of be locked in more. I like the portal. I like the portal a lot compared to the quest feeder that we have right now.
With the portal, we get a daily login bonus. I'm not kidding.
It just
part of the article, which that screenshot comes from. There is a daily login bonus that will go through the portal.
Yeah, it just feels like, I don't know. For so long, I've like Destiny has felt like a thing where I've had to go peck and hunt in order to find anything. And like, because of like, we have so much stuff over the years that of accumulating locations and everything, it just this feels like the first time in a while that they've been like, yeah, this is a video game, and this is the thing that you can play in the video game, and like making it more clear in that way. I like and respect that. Expanded dungeon loot pools, cool. Into that. Everything else, I'm just kind of like, we'll wait and see. But yeah, so that's been that's been the conversation. If nobody else has anything else to add to it, nothing.
Just gotta wait and see. We could. This would all of our questions could be answered like this week. They can just drop a trailer, be like, here's a date.
They'll do it tomorrow. No one else asks.
Yeah, this will be out tonight. This will be out the night that we record it on. on Sunday the 23rd. So who knows? Maybe. My hope is that they do say something in that April, in the proposed April.
They've
thing.
got to. They've got to.
So we'll just we're hovering in stasis. We're in wait and see mode.
At least Heresy's good, so I think that's like kind of
tempered some of the.
I'm not thinking of Frontier right now because I'm really enjoying Heresy. I'm logging in every day. I'm focused on that. Like if Heresy wasn't good too, and then I'm thinking about the future, that'd be bad. But at least Heresy is pretty decent. We have Ride of the Nines next month. We have still Act 3, so at least they have that going for it. But please, Bungie, don't let April go by.
Yeah.
This time last year we were playing Into the Light.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For a long time. We were playing Into the Light for a long time.
Take me back. We didn't realize we had it. Actually, no, we all knew we had it. So
we
good.
knew
it was so good. It was so good. We all knew it. We all freaking knew it. All right. Well, let's wrap up this episode. Since we're not live, we don't have any questions or anything. So
Tiddly put a question.
Oh, Tiddly put a question in the chat.
Twilly's chat. What you mean? Tiddly's chat.
What is your hope for the new expansion? Excited about more open world exploration, new build crafting, new exotics.
Oh man.
Apart from the obvious, which is literally that, I hope we see a heel turn for Destiny, because we've been on the same stuff for 10 years pretty much. I would like to see them evolve in their current space. They could go the whole 9 yards of it. It could also fall off a short cliff very quickly. And it's kind of dependent on Frontiers. I am apprehensive, I think the word might be, about what the future would hold for it, because there is nothing like this game.
Right.
And no matter, I'm hyped for Borderlands 4 coming up this year, but also I know
the tale of Borderlands. Like there is a tale.
I know, there's. I know what I'm going to get with Borderlands, and I'm going to consume all that content very quickly, and that's how I play it. But there is no game that does the gunplay, the power fantasy of what Destiny can deliver. Nobody has touched it in 10 years. It will be a shame to see it fail.
Yeah. Just new exotics. Like not even knowing.
Define new exotics though, because they could give us. They're going to give us new exotics, but like, what do you want to see out of the exotics? I think
I would want to see
Feral Dyad at least looks exotic. And starting to feel exotic, but like there was a few years that like exotics were just like very bad, and they were just not. I hate to bring up Gjallarhorn and like Anarchy, but like, there's weapons that feel and look exotic. What would you want to see as regards like, not like what it's going to do? It doesn't need to be like meta defining, but what do you mean by exotics? We're gonna get that, but
I would like to see more. You got your chocolate and my peanut butter kind of exotics with prismatic. Like,
okay,
is that an American saying? Like what?
It is not an American saying.
No,
it's a Dan
is that a Daniel saying?
So it's the Reese's when they came out. It's like, you got your peanut butter and my chocolate. You got your chocolate and my peanut butter. Why not the best of both worlds? Like that kind of thing. That was an old market.
Oh right, okay.
So,
right, all right.
Anyways,
still, what does that mean?
But no, I would like to focus more on prismatic. If you decided to go down like a certain line. Like I could see them becoming way more granular on effects.
Okay.
Depending on what you're running, and like fuse that to a helmet or to an armor or something like that. Not just keep it to the class item, because while the class items are cool, there's like I don't know. There's a lot of utility in them. Yeah.
You want to see an exotic that is strictly for prismatic and not just like pulling from.
I want to see more focus. Yeah. I want to see more focus on that. At least like one per class, maybe in the next year. I got you. Right.
That would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know how they would do it, but
I think
having something that's like around prismatic and transcendence could be really interesting.
Yeah.
Having more than 3 elements equipped or something like that.
Yeah. Like get you a bonus for damage or for damage reduction, like things along those lines. Or if they just create something absolutely loopy. Like they do kind of pigeonhole you into a mode of playing with prismatic, but when you pigeonhole yourself into that mode, it's very rewarding to play. Like something along those lines I'd like to see, that kind of push and pull with prismatic.
I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Prismatic is so hard.
No, it's not. Is it? Let me teach you, please.
Have you I was gonna ask Sammy, have you been playing prismatic for the Rushdown?
And off.
And how's that experience been for you?
I'm very bad.
They pulled you off of Void Hunter.
But yeah. Anybody else? What would anybody else want to see?
I'd like to see just like synergy, like we've like theorized about them almost like removing like the subclass system or whatever. And it just being, obviously there'd be so many broken things, but to play with that a little bit more to, bring everything together. Be crazy.
Tilly also dropped a question into our shared thing. What would be your dream encounter to add to any current raid? So you get to add
Sparrow encounters.
Does it have to be
Sparrow puzzle encounters?
Encounter that we already have in the game?
No. I'm gonna say no. Come up with an encounter. What would you add?
1v1 the boss, but your teammates don't get pulled in. It is literally you and the boss.
They're on the outside, like looking in.
They can send buffs in, they can stop ads coming in, whatever the case may be, but it's you and the boss. If you fuck up, everybody knows it.
So it's Crota, basically.
I would never, ever play
Original
that.
Crota.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever. That is one of the reasons I do not do Salvation's Edge. Because it's too much pressure. Too much pressure.
You'll be fine.
Speaking of pressure. So imagine like an encounter where you need to keep enemy density balanced. While you're
I'm gonna fail that immediately.
While somebody is trying
to kill too many people.
Or like you need to stay within a certain margin on like a meter or something like that. Like you do have to pull back a little bit in order to keep like weight or something on a plate.
Make the ad clear as thing. I'd like it, but I will fail it. I will wipe the board of them. I can't help
All
it.
how hunters are shaking in their boots.
But yeah, like something like that would be neat, I think.
I don't know.
I just almost like a horde mode sort of thing whilst doing puzzles, right? Now we've obviously got like ad clear encounters where you are running a puzzle.
Yeah.
But where all 6 people are doing a puzzle and you've just got like an entire army coming at you.
What was that?
We've got these ad clear builds, but it feels like you just don't really get to put them to the test or like pull aggro from just ads, not just a boss, and one of these like that huge, huge,
like
wide
back against
open
the wall.
Yeah. Like a firefight, you're in a castle, there's multiple ways in, set yourself up, there's multiple ways to defend this castle.
And there's probably no way they can like balance that though. They couldn't add enough enemies.
They couldn't do it. They couldn't do it.
Have you guys seen the trailer for Kingmakers? or for
yes.
Kingmaker yet?
Yes.
Epic Dan, Rev,
Nope.
Sammy, you?
I have unfortunately not.
Okay. So it's made in Unreal 4, and they're very proud to say that they're building it in Unreal 4 because of the way that it interacts. But it's basically you get pulled from like back in time, and you can have a.
Oh wait, yeah,
yeah.
I think I remember this from the Games Awards.
Yeah, yeah.
Bro came riding in with an AK.
Bro came riding in with an AK on a pickup truck through like a legion of medieval.
What is this game?
It looks alien as shit. I remember now. I remember it. It looks so fucking.
It looks very stupid. It looks very stupid.
But we're gonna play it, right?
But everyone is gonna play it.
We're gonna play it, right, Daniel?
Gonna play it.
Yeah. It looks very, very dumb. But like if you had that amount of enemies just crushing in on you in kind of a tower defense mode, maybe it's just the Cataclysmo in me. Maybe
we all played Space Marine, like the most recent Space Marine.
Yeah.
Just the amount of bugs that can come at you at like once. All right,
give me that shit.
Yeah, that would be neat. But yeah, Kingmaker, I think it's coming out later this year.
Yeah, we gotta play that.
This is hilarious.
I think Dan's
for those of you listening at home, Dan's gonna put the link.
Yeah, I'll put the link to the Steam in that. I watched the Future Game Showcase this year. I guess this will be the button before we call it a night. But I watched the Future Game Showcase and that came up, and I was like, and the developer's like very proud that it's an Unreal 4. Like,
yeah.
They were almost.
Oh, it's made by
Unreal
Tiny
5.
Build. Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's interesting to say the least.
Yeah, but, in the video game awards when they showed it, we were all thinking, "Oh, Tiny Build, it's all right." And then all of a sudden, Bo comes out with a 4x4 with 50 cal on the top.
Yeah.
What the fuck is going on?
What the hell is this game? Like.
Just seeing the truck do the Back to the Future thing and then all of a sudden go in the medieval age is just hilarious.
It looks very stupid, very dumb, and will I play it? Probably.
Will it be very, very popular? Probably.
I don't know how popular it will be.
I can see it being popular for at least a short time.
For sure. Yeah, I think it would be
like
one
a
of those...
meme game. It'll be a meme.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. For sure. But yeah, bring me that ad density in a tower defense mode.
There is a lot of ads in this trailer.
That's an insane amount of ads. Like,
I can just see a tether right now, just
failing.
We need more tethers.
All right, folks.
We're useful again.
That's I feel like this is like where we're gonna call it. Tiddly had to leave, but go check out our friend Tiddly, twitch.tv/Tiddly, TIDDLY. You can also check them out on Blue Sky, as I think most of us here. But let's go around and find out where people can follow you on the internet. Let's start with our guest, Rev, tonight. Rev, thanks so much for joining us. Where can people find you?
LinkedIn. I'm kidding. You can find me on Blue Sky. You can find me on Blue Sky and Twitter. I'm trying to get better at cross posting.
Buffer. Get Buffer.
So shit.
Get Buffer. It's free. You can do it.
That's absolutely wonderful. I am not going to do that. Otherwise I'll never make the cross of just leaving X eventually.
Yeah.
Oh God, I called it X. It's Twitter. Oh no. Yeah, you'll find me there in the background of other people's streams, annoying them. Smile.
Never. Sammy, where can people find you?
On twitch.tv/SammyCat. You can also find me as Sammy Cat on Blue Sky, and YouTube, and Sammy Cat Plays on everything else. Mostly X and I called it X too. Oh my gosh.
Sammy, no!
Stop. Just hop off.
I think it's just because Rev just called it X, so that's why I have it.
Nah, I don't need the extra
No,
flag.
I'm pretty sure. Because I have said Twitter every other time, even when I brought it up in this episode.
See what you've done? See what you've done, Rev?
Leave me alone, bro. Make my bed.
Yeah. So that is why I just said it. Anyways, you can find me on Twitter and TikTok at Sammy Cat Plays.
Heck yeah. Bana, where can people find you? Welcome back, by the way. Welcome.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a month, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been a month.
Yeah, everywhere but X. Yeah, stream throughout the week, and yeah, when I'm not dadding and producing, you'll find me on the socials, Blue Sky, Instagram. Trying to get better at them all. Yeah. Check the links.
Heck yeah. Epic Dan.
You can find me at twitch.tv/EpicDan22 on pretty often, sometimes too often.
You'll join the stream on Monday, and then you'll still be there on a Wednesday.
Hey, my last stream was only 18 hours, so I went light. So.
Oh, good. Moderation. Noted.
Moderation.
I've been lucky if I get that in a month recently.
So you can find me there. You can find me on YouTube, putting at least a couple times a week, putting out videos there, and on the TikTok, putting out short form content there. And then you can find me sometimes just ranting on either Blue Sky or Twitter.
Heck yeah. My name's Danfinity, and you can find me at danfinity.gg. Just go there. Don't go anywhere else. Just there. And yeah, that's it. I mean, you can find me on Twitch. I'm on Twitch 3 days a week. I'm proud to be there. like I like spending time with people there. So come through, hang out. Nothing major from me this week. Just go to danfinity.gg. That's the show. That's episode 94 of the Destiny Digest podcast. Thank you so much for listening, and we hope you find what you're grinding for.